Well, we'll see if it works. All right, let's hit go live. Let's summon forth the people. We'll go a little early. I already tweeted out everything. Where's announcements? There's announcements. Yes, send everyone.
Everyone.
Oh, gosh. Speaking of temperature, I'm in a weird spot myself where I'm bouncing back and forth between, do I want my fan on because it's a little cold, or do I want my fan off, but then it's a little hot. So, hold on. I'm going to go turn my fan back on, chat.
No, you just reminded me I don't have a fan in my very cold house. Air circulation.
Oh, man. Well, people can probably hear my fan constantly.
Not really.
I mean, I can turn on the second fan that's directly in front of me.
But you should hear that one, though.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. My headphones are on. How you doing, chat? Watcha. Swing. Swing, Twintuition. I speak English.
Look, I'm
Hello. Hi. YouTube is still yelling at me about the video quality. But I'm not seeing any dropped frames. Thank you, Chris Starlight. I think we're doing okay. Not sure why YouTube would be futzy. Hopefully it'll fix itself shortly. I'm not really seeing anything weird in the preview.
Meg, I have a question.
Yeah, it's me.
What is the art used for the title card?
Oh, this is Awakening of Nephthys. There's like 3... No. It's a continuous trap. There's like 3.
With how this picture looks, it looks like you're looking at the back of a weird Odd Eyes monster.
So let's get into a little bit into the background for this. We can get started a little early. There's other stuff to talk about. Happy Singles Awareness Day, everybody. I make this joke once a year. But also, happy 1-year anniversary of Master Duel, even though it is definitely not the 1-year anniversary of Master Duel.
Give or take 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago. But the bundle authorized today, and it's pretty interesting. So there's a bunch of stuff. Personally, I do want to say, dear Konami, if you repeat this process where you get the guaranteed Royal Rare, please make it so I can just pick the fucking secret pack, because one of the secret packs is Red Eyes, but they shuffle them up. So guess what I got on my first login? Motherfucking Blue Eyes. So I now have a Royal Rare Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Thanks, Mr. Konami.
I have a Royal Rare Red Hot Dragon Archfiend Bane or whatever.
Well,
I'm like, no, give me the Pen Magician.
Yeah, that's probably more up your alley, but you at least would play Archfiends. I've seen you play them. You might do that. I am literally never gonna. That's if I can, that special Royal Rare Blue Eyes card might be turned into 30 dust to make a card I'm actually gonna fucking use.
I am trying to understand why they'd have it where you only get one Royal Rare out of a share of like 500 cards.
Well, no. It's so if you haven't logged into Master Duel, which everybody do, it goes for like 3 months, but there's like a login streak thing to do. You can get several of these tickets. They show you 8 secret packs, shuffle them all up, and you randomly pick from one of the 8. So you open 1 free secret pack, and then you get a Royal Rare of, I think it might be a guaranteed UR from that secret pack that you pulled. So the guaranteed slot is relatively narrow. The problem is that, like I said, they randomize which of the 8 secret packs you get, and some of them are interesting. Some of them are going to be like, because they're all, I think, anime-focused ones. So
Galaxy-eyed Royal Rare. Jesus.
Hey, that might be good. Some of those Galaxy Eye cards are still relevant.
Okay, but again,
I mean, I would just, considering how many fucking Red Eyes cards I have randomly rolled or crafted, I would like some Royals, especially because they did announce what they're calling Theme Chronicle, which is they're doing a ladder event, which will be focused on classic anime archetypes, by which I mean the loners are literally Blue Eyes, Red Eyes, Dark Magician, and it has one of the biggest non-extra deck focused ban lists I think I've ever seen. Basically, any end boss or engine monster that has not from an anime archetype is fucking banned. So, hopefully that will be fun, and it won't just be everybody and their mother playing... I should look at what the Blue Eyes deck actually is. I don't know if it allows you to play Chaos Max Turbo.
One beat I wanted to bring up before I got cut off there, would probably mean to be to say that.
No, go for it.
As like when you brought up like the Galaxy Eyes card, I wanted to just say that I think relatively nowadays, Galaxy Eyes, I think has some decent moments, but is now just a fair deck, and in most card games, fair is just not good enough.
It's not fair.
No, it's
fair in Yu-Gi-Oh terms.
no, it isn't. If you play
It doesn't
Galaxy
look
Eyes
good.
correctly, you just OTK your opponent and they can't fucking do anything.
Yeah.
The problem is that Galaxy Eyes occupies a like meta archetypal slot in the game and the fiction of Yu-Gi-Oh, where it is a rivals archetype. That means it's a hard going second OTK deck that loses a lot on screen.
It
points
actually doesn't
at
lose
your
a lot.
opponent. It
It
points
doesn't
at
lose that
your
much.
board and goes, "Your monster, my monster."
Yeah, Galaxy Eyes has a lot of stealing cards. They had a lot of negates. Now I think you just make Afterglow and try to do like double OTK damage.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, in the anime where Galaxy Eyes comes from, for the first half of the series, Galaxy Eyes never lost. Like, it was always just ways for the other people they somehow got ways to get out of the game before it finished, because otherwise they would have died.
But yeah, Galaxy Eyes, it basically
always
it's the
super
same thing
sacky.
as Sidra or as Blue Eyes these days. Like, you are almost always a hard going second deck, and you hope your opponent makes some monsters that you can fucking flatten, and they can't do anything about it because your guys are huge. Unfortunately, I don't think Galaxy Eyes is as well loved as Blue Eyes. I like to talk about how Konami has Blue Eyes cock firmly affixed in their mouth.
I think it's the thing of, unlike
like how
some
you
things like
interrupt me in the middle of
Pokemon,
my
where
thought.
people grew up with the series, a lot of people kind of only saw it when they were kids and then never moved on.
It's a
Well,
revenue
yeah,
gap.
there's
Axe
MBT
just
has a
doesn't
whole
listen.
video about how the Actman is a scrub lord, which I didn't need MBT to tell me, but I appreciate the video as a takedown.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
I'll
quick
punch
thing
up.
that-
I don't give a fuck who the Actman is. What are you gonna do? Downvote my video? I don't know any of you people.
I've seen some of the Ackman stuff. He's alright, but oh well.
No, he's a square.
Filthy casual? No.
Also, no, Dark Matter sucks, especially because I think he's generic. He is a bad
Yeah.
boy. It's like why we're never gonna let Azathoth out.
Listen,
It-
like, Dark Matter Dragon is cool, but it also is just it is also just painful to choice about
Whenever I
having to make your
hear-
opponent choose anything.
Whenever I hear Axe try to defend an archetype, I'm like, okay, so it's broken.
No,
No, I
literally
think
saying
sometimes
why
he
it
tries
was-
to bounce back and forth. Like, I mean,
I was
he's
literally
not
saying,
wrong. And Dark Matter is a cool guy, but also it is just
Like I just said, it's painful choice, but your opponent never gets to choose anything.
you just
No,
dump
no,
all the cards.
when you were
want.
trying to defend how Galaxy Ice plays, and I'm just like, no.
But I want to
What
throw
are we-
out there, like, Blue Eyes, like, right now is on the peak of support, and it's probably not going to get any better, though admittedly, they at least got their legacy support in the last couple of years, so hopefully Konami doesn't feel the need to juice them up again. But, seriously, I don't know why Blue Eyes players try to shoehorn fucking Chaos Max into everything. It's just Jet looping forever back and forth. You can never get rid of him. And then do Ultimate Fusion for, is it Alternative Ultimate
Wouldn't-
Dragon or Neo Ultimate Dragon? Which one just lets you send whatever Blue Eyes cards from your extra deck you like to attack forever? I think that's Alternative.
Don't remember.
I think
That
that's
card is
Alternative
usually just
Ultimate.
because it's 3 mat, so you get to blow up like 2 or 3 cards off Ultimate Fusion, and then it gets to attack like twice or thrice. And since it's a 4500, that's usually game over. Like Chaos Max is a hard stopper to a lot of decks. I very often have to look at my extra deck and go, can I? I mean, I don't know if Blue Eyes is going to get anything in the Animation Chronicle. Does Blue Eyes have unreleased cards? The Animation Chronicle is not support for anime decks. It is cards that we haven't printed yet that were in an anime.
Hey, Mega, you
This-
awakened. Go off.
Just quickly, because this happened yesterday, I did log into Master Duel. I did do some games. It's really funny to defeat Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon with a with an Ancient Gear deck, especially when he runs over the howitzer.
Well,
with
yeah,
Chaos Max.
you with Ancient Gears, you can make a big enough dickhead. I'm currently climbing the ladder because I don't have the 3,000 gems for the special anniversary bundle right now. Little
I
pricey,
think so for that.
little pricey, Konami, for your special
How much
anniversary
that
bundle.
cost?
Just
Like
saying.
$40?
Yeah, I don't know what it is in real. I've literally never bought gems.
It's less than
That's-
an 80
I had-
pack.
Yeah,
had
but it's
2.8K
still a significant
saved.
markup. But I'm at like 2K, so it doesn't matter. But I'm trying to climb ladder, so I'm playing lab. I have had to fold to Chaos Max in certain lab builds because it's just like, I could get over this with a... This is the reason why I play Labyrinth Archfiend. I could try and stall the game out long enough to make a fucking huge Lab Archfiend, but Blue Eyes Chaos Max does double piercing, so unless I already have a lot of trap cards, it is just not worth it trying to live long enough.
Oh my god, earlier you kind of woke up with a thing in my head about how, when I was thinking about talking about Blue Eyes getting all the support, it's like, man, I wonder if it'd be nice if they actually just gave support to a bunch of other actual cards in that era. And it's like, then I thought about it, it's like, oh wait, the Hungry Burger archetype just got it, or I guess the Cooking archetype just got expanded. It's not that, it's just okay.
I mean, no. New Villas has some legs, mostly because it tributes all your opponent's monsters, and it does so kind of at different effects. So,
When I read them, I didn't feel that consistent, but I might have to see it in play.
Man,
I mean,
went up against-
the main thing is just that they are hypothetically bricks, is the main concern, because you don't, unlike Megaliths or even some of the Drytron cards and shit, they don't have any effects in hand or on tribute, but they're still good. The main thing is, what archetype are they?
Just
Or
quickly.
what type?
Oh, Ritual.
Sadly,
No, that's
sadly,
not
I don't have-
the type is not that.
Oh, Fiends, I think?
Nope, that's also not.
Okay.
That might be the. Is it the type? I thought the type was. No, the type is the element.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to ask if I can run Allure, but I can't search New Velez. That doesn't work. Thanks, Internet.
Are mostly Dark or Fire. It might also be...
I mean, I think Hungry Burger might be dark. I don't remember. They're all warriors and beast warriors because Hungry Burger is a warrior, so it's very funny. That means you can play Rhoda, I believe, and other shit like that. But yeah, it's it has a potential to be bricky, but you're gonna run like 3 Manju, maybe 3 of the 10,000 hands. I have to remember how he works exactly.
They had like a new version of like Manju?
Yeah, no, there's a
Manju,
10,000 hands. I don't remember what he's called because they're all
Senju?
No, Senju already exists.
Oh.
They made a new
Okay.
version of that one though.
So,
I just don't remember that one.
in addition to the 3K anniversary pack, we also got cool alt art of
Yeah, they did do some
Unicorn.
stuff. Yeah.
and Eldritch, which I look at and go, that actually looks kind of cool.
Yes, and they did actually do a neat thing. So they gave you, like they did when they updated the Sky Striker pack, to include like the new Striker cards. Also, by the way, who the fuck? I want to find out whoever wrote Linkage, and I want to kill him.
Is this
I'm more
Skyscrapers?
just sad that like, man, if they put this alternate Dark Magician, why can't we have like the missing Dark Magician cards?
Well, we do. That's what the structure deck is.
Oh, we have Max Chaos now. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think Illusion of Chaos
I
is
guess
in
I made
there.
that list that well.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, he's in
they
there.
added a new Dark Magician structure deck, and he is in there. There's a lot of shit actually in the anniversary. There's so much stuff. Choju of the shitload of hands. It might actually be Trillion. Thank you, Mr.
Trillion?
Ghost Perdell. It's a lot of fucking hands. Okay, I think it is Choju though.
like-
Is his name?
It's like,
It's like, is it like
Is it?
10,000?
does it search the field spell? Does it search like the ritual spell and a ritual monster at the same time, or just one or the other?
I think it may be both. I don't remember. We're literally never gonna get to Nephthys Axe if you keep interrupting me. I've listed like 3 of the things that are in the anniversary.
Well, it's the card you run in Epis anyway.
No, it's not.
Okay. I tried.
Yeah, you
You
shouldn't have
tried to
tried. You're trying to. You
delay?
fucking. Axe is causing the train derailment in Ohio.
Axe is just a stall deck as a person.
MBT did have a very funny video, and
Why
I
not
think
go
he's
ban
right.
myself?
Fucking. Why does Konami think that the only way to support shitty rogue archetypes is to give them skill drain and or Vanity's emptiness? Why?
Got a lot of.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
so if this card is summoned, add a ritual monster or ritual spell.
Yeah, also, Axe, I was literally going to say after you said I'll ban myself, it would have made more sense if you left the call when you said that.
I mean, I did. I just
And then you
struggled to get to
did.
the
Yeah,
point.
no.
The problem is that joke is not great on my end for the stream because I don't have the notifications. But if I had the Discord sounds on, it would be very funny. Unfortunately, that would probably lead to distractions like when Dallas bolts in here at like 10 p.m. high on cough syrup.
Or you do what I did Monday and leave partway through your words.
Well, yeah, perfectly cut. It's very good. Anyway, the anniversary, there's a new Dark Magician structure deck. It's got a lot of the missing Dark Magician cards and some cool card cases and shit. Loth mentioned the alt arts, which, and like I said, like the Sky Striker packs, they have
Automate.
you get a free pull on the Nightmare and the Eldritch pack, and also they have the chance for you to get those guys in there, the new alt arts, which is pretty neat. They've added 2 new selection packs. One of them is themed on anime decks. They also added a new solo mode, which is even more like basic bitch baby how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Like tech. You do still get some gems and some legacy tickets for finishing it, so go for it. But it sounds like they're trying to, once again, like, appeal to the more casual, nostalgia-themed players to, like, get them hooked. But this, that pack does include Change of Heart and Blaster, because they are both now unbanned in Master Duel. So that's pretty neat. And the other pack is fucking Sprite, with also some cards you've been missing, like some punk cards we didn't have yet, and some other shit like that. I haven't run into a lot of people playing Sprite on ladder yet, but they're gonna be here. So I don't know personally what I'm gonna do about that. I might try investing to get Sprite Live Twin going. That was very popular in the OCG.
I want to make a Sprite deck that involves Fanta, Sunkissed, Sprite Zero.
I did see somebody running Sprite Frogs, which was still just consistent enough because Ronin Toten's not banned in Master Duel, but I don't know what their fucking end board was. I had abysmal lab draws.
Annoying.
Lab, I love Lab a lot because when you get it going, it's so fun to just be like, oh, your opponent does something and you're like, oh, you thought? Chain 5. But it's very dependent on winning the coin flip and having a good hand. If you actually draw 5 spell traps, and one of those spell traps is not Welcome Labyrinth, you might lose the game.
Hey, I'll make a quick thing.
Yeah.
You know what's fun? Using Infinite Impermanence on someone's lab lady they summon.
You gotta be careful about that.
Well, it was in regards to when they were activating all their Welcome Labyrinth effects. I'm like, nope, none of that.
Yeah. I mean, I think Lab Lady's not even the real problem card. Somebody on Twitter gave me the dark advice, and they talked about how annoying Eradicator Epidemic Virus is, and I was like,
oh no.
Perfect. If you don't remember what Eradicator does, that's tribute a dark monster with 25 or higher, declare spell or trap, look at all your opponent's cards in their hand and field, pop all of the card you designate, and also look at every card they draw for the next 3 turns. If it's that card, pop it. In Lab, it is very easy to sack your own lovely lady, declare spell or trap, and then just loop her back and reset it and do it again, because tributing off a normal trap is removing a monster from the field due to a trap effect. So you could just do it all again. And there are a lot of decks that lose hardcore if you're just like, no spells, no traps. But though I have noticed, by the way, a decent uptick in people, I think, preparing for the Theme Chronicle in the ladder, playing the new Dark Magician structure deck, playing Blue Eyes, and actually some of my homies trying to play Red Eyes. Unfortunately, I fucking eat them alive because, no, even in Silver, you cannot play Red Eyes and beat Labyrinth. I'm sorry. I know this. You
Red Eyes
will not win.
It's not bad, but it's not good.
It's not good enough. We'll see how I rack up in the actual event. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on for the anniversary. It's pretty interesting. The meta is probably going to be absolutely cucked soon in ladder. I'm hopefully I can make it to plat, maybe even diamond before that happens, but we'll see.
Something, but is Lord of the Red a good card?
Lord of the Red is not usually run because the levels don't really match up, but it is an okay card. I think it's once per turn negate. Just flat, like he's just their negate guy. He does okay. The main thing is just the levels don't work out. Red Eyes, you can play a bajillion cards and still... Like, honestly, the Red Eyes loner deck they've got is pretty good. It's just the ratios are absolutely fucked because there's so many Red Eyes cards. They have, like, 1 copy of each of the 4 trap cards, and then they just give you 3 copies of Red Eyes Insight, so they're just like, fuck it, just search whatever you want.
Okay, we need to keep going after this one, but just... It's sad that Red Eyes is one thing, is, like, it just, unlike Dark Magician, it doesn't have, like, consistent iteration where it actually builds upon a point. It just kind of retries itself over and over.
Yeah, that Konami's real problem is they keep remaking Red Eyes every time. So we'll see. They haven't, I don't think, done the goodness to... Actually, I should double check the new selection pack if they added, like, Red Eyes Soul and Red Eyes Meteor Dragon to that. Because there are a couple of new Red Eyes cards. I did actually see some Dragon Nails added, finally, after 10,000 years.
No.
Dragon Nails is a good card if you're running the Slash variant of the deck because you actually need equip spells, but otherwise it's a little weird. Anyway, Axe is right. We've been going for about 15 minutes talking about Master Duel's anniversary. It's okay. You should check it out. I'm interested to see where the Chronicle go, and they did announce they will be redoing the Xyz Festival event, so it sounds like we're going to get a lot of the festivals yearly. I'm just going to play Labyrinth in the Xyz Festival. Fuck it. I hope y'all are ready for my Xyz deck to be 2 cards. It's called Baguska Pass, because Baguska's a fiend.
So, Omega, you committed that you are a square stun player.
I mean, not really. Baguska's a weird play. It is a stall play. It is technically a stun card. If I'm actually making Baguska my Labyrinth deck, something has gone very wrong. Baguska Pass is usually the fuck, I don't have anything, fuck, hold on, I need a couple of draw phases, fuck. And I don't think I've ever won a game where I've made Baguska Pass, actually. Just saying. Labyrinth is not actually or at least I don't play Labyrinth like a stall deck. I don't have skill drain and shit in there. Because I prefer to actually play the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where I activate card effects and not just activate skill drain and wait until I draw something good. But yeah, we should move on to Nephthys. So we talked a little about some back stuff. There's plenty of stuff going on. Very interested to see what this whole 25 year is. They've got a lovely, cute logo for it. And they're doing some promo. There's a new trailer. They got a hashtag with a little tiny Dark Magician emote. So they're trying at least. I'm hopeful we can get some better pro action out of here. But speaking of archetypes I love that are not good and have probably never been good, let me check Top Cut right now. Well, your top decks. Nephthys is a archetype now. But, let me see, it's Nephthys. Yeah, if I try to search Yu-Gi-Oh! Top decks, Nephthys itself is literally not listed as an archetype. It's just the individual cards. Let me try searching by Cerulean. None. Yep. So yeah, Nephthys have sadly never been good in a meta term. You occasionally see some of their cards, like the old school Sacred Phoenix was teched into some Fire King builds back in the day. And in general, Fire King cards play very well with Nephthys. So let me pull up the card art for the OG so we can actually talk about this a little. But Nephthys is one of those many late DM, early GX era, Yugi Boomer-based boss monsters. Some of them were good, some of them were not, but this is a lot of shit you saw, like the Creator, like the Horus levels. Some of the Chaos Boys are like this,
the Creator.
Yeah. Also a sad that guy never got a real archetype. What the fuck, Konami?
Yeah, you got Creator Incarnate, the Dark Creator, and then...
No. Chaos Creator.
Oh, my bad.
Chaos Creator is a very fucking good card, funnily enough, in Chaos decks. It's just they didn't really try and make him a real archetype like they did for Nephthys. By the way, we're doing this because we are still progressing through our solo modes. The lore for Nephthys is very basic bitch. It doesn't really add anything or go anywhere. It's just, in a certain country, Egypt, there is a tribe who worships a big fire chicken. They have priests who have a connection to the fire chicken. They are attacked by an evil force who's too strong for them. They try to summon the fire chicken. It doesn't work, so they get a smaller, cuter priestess to summon the fire chicken, and they make the big fire chicken, and they don't die. That's it.
It's legit just some kind of self-contained Yu-Gi-Oh! It's more of it's it's enough for like a diorama piece or like a singular anime movie kind of thing.
Yeah, diorama is a good way to look at it. Like their lore is more of a snapshot of just like a couple of things that connect. But the solo mode doesn't even go to like name the force that they're fighting. Like pick another Egypt-themed archetype and make them opposite or something.
Gravekeepers.
It could be. They are dark. Nephthys, by the way, are all fire. Most of them are winged beasts, but some of them are not. Yeah, it's a combo. The birds are all fire winged beasts. The ladies are all wind spellcasters, for reasons we'll get into. Here's the original Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. This is a very old school Yu-Gi-Oh card. Like, technically, this is a winged beast, but it's vaguely draconic. It's kind of like Raw at Home,
Yeah.
It is a mecha bird. There's a lot of fire. Did not notice that she has, well, I also say she, looks like has tits and has very feminine arms.
Is it like meant to be the princess converted into a bird?
Something like that. I mean, it would also make sense to be Egyptian because, like, you've got, you know, robot chicken head, then you've got lady body. Like, that's an art theme. The bottom half being the weird bird parts is a little interesting.
It is weird. It's like it has like the face of like a metallic phoenix, and then like the bottom half of like just a bird dragon, kind of.
Yeah, but definitely like, and you know, you got long tail with like kind of fire burst effect. Definitely very old school Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know if this was a Kaz art because I don't remember if this was actually like in the anime ever. But it definitely has those vibes. It's got, you know, the classic Yu-Gi-Oh! Sacred Circle in the back, you know. So, well, like I said, the actual archetype Nephthys, which came out way later, by the way, that was in Hidden Summoners. That wasn't until, like, 2016, I want to say. 2017? Much, much later. Hidden Summoners, by the way, was a deck build pack that had Mayakashi, Prank Kids, and Nephthys. So, you can tell that while very based and interesting, hasn't really gone anywhere other than the Prank Kids, because they have gotten lingering support, and Nephthys hasn't. Oh, it was 2018. Okay, yeah, it was later than I thought because it was Link era. But yeah, it's yeah, once again way later. Flaming Eternity was 2005. So, you know, big distance on those setups. But yeah, the OG Nephthys was occasionally teched into some decks because it was a interesting, weird card. It's a level 8, so you can use trade-in on it. It is a fire-winged beast. And let me just read its effects so you guys know why you would do that. Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys, Phoenix God of Nephthys in Japanese. Fire-winged beast, level 8. 2,400 attack, 1,600 defense, so bad stats for its level, but this was still pretty old school Yu-Gi-Oh, so it makes sense because its effect is once per turn during your next standby phase after this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard. Special summon it from the graveyard. If you do, destroy all spell traps on the field. So as somebody said in chat, it is a heavy storm on a stick if you get its effect. And the fact that it revives itself after being destroyed specifically plays into the whole of the themes that we built around this deck over time. So,
and also Phoenix.
Yeah. Well, it is a Phoenix, so it makes sense. But that's specifically if they are destroyed, the Nephthys cards can reborn themselves. And so recover advantage that way. This has led to a lot of synergy over the years, a lot of interesting effects to make some stuff work. But the old school Nephthys was teched in a couple of decks. I don't think it was super popular, but it was definitely a playground type staple. And actually, I can go to top decks and see regular Sacred Phoenix if it's ever been used.
I do enjoy the look of old Sacred Phoenix. Look at this boy.
Yeah, no. So in Sacred Phoenix has been in decks basically since it was printed off and on. It was used in Monarchs. It was used in Chaos Control decks, even though it's a fire. Presumably because you can get some extra summons and get some extra guys out there, or just blow it up. Has some place in Soul Control and Warrior Toolbox shit, like back in the day. Just like Zombie Phoenix was actually a deck type. So there were some zombie decks. And did actually see some place in some Fire Kings deck when that came out in the Xyz era. But, so, an old standby, a GOAT style staple. So, you know, a solid card, an interesting creature. But not really a lot to go on there in terms of game design. There is another card, though, that is also a staple that is not an archetype card per se, but I do want to bring up because it's another card people will recognize. And it also came out in Flaming Eternity. And that is... Scroll through 5 million versions of this card art. Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. Which, as you can see, has Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys on it. I assume that the Phoenix Wing Wind Blast is supposed to be like Nephthys' signature attack. Also gives you a slightly different angle. You can see, you know, the wings are quite low down on the hips there, and there's the long tail with the fire at the bottom.
Can you imagine, like, similar to what they did with some other other cards, to retrain Sacred Phoenix with Nephthys Phoenix Wind Blast?
Oh, that would be so long. They would have to make it just
all that
wing.
on a card.
They would have to just make it Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys Wing Wind Blast. Like, unless they went for the full pun, Sacred Phoenix Wing Wind Blast of Nephthys. That'd be hilarious. But yeah, no. This is a old school staple card. I assume most of you in chat probably know what it means. But this is a card that off and on has been good and popular a lot of times.
For various reasons.
The main thing is, and I will say what it does, it's a normal trap, discard a card, target a card your opponent controls, put it on top of the deck. So while it doesn't get around targeting protection, that wasn't very common until much later in Yu-Gi-Oh! And it does get around destruction protection. So basically this is like Raigeki Break, but instead of destroying the target, it puts it to the top of the deck. So this fades your opponent's draw step, and it lets you discard a card, which, again, like I said, the actual Nephthys was played in, like, Chaos Control and zombie decks, you know, graveyard shit. So this also lets you set cards up and, you know, do all that stuff. Excuse you. So, very common card. Not necessarily good to actually play in Nephthys, while certainly you can take advantage of some of the graveyard setup. The big thing that Nephthys cards want is to be destroyed by card effects, so the archetype version of this trap would read, destroy a card in your hand, then put the top of the deck. No idea why Konami didn't just do that, but they didn't. Nephthys actually has very few spell traps. We'll probably be talking about a couple
for a
of them.
ritual archetype.
Yeah, no, they made them mostly monster-based and then interactions with the spell cards. Now, like a lot of old school, like I said, you know, playground staple boss monsters that are pretty cool, this card has a Dark Retrain, because that was a thing that Konami did, mostly during late GX. This is obviously where Dark Armed Dragon comes from, the Dark Creator, shit like that. But we do also have Dark Nephthys. It's Nephthys, but dark.
Nephthys.
I know this is the redo from, this is like the Master Duel Upres, but actually this does look pretty good. They've got a really good shading on the dark colors, and the black and red flames are really interesting. What are you laughing about?
Just how chicken-like he is.
Well,
it is a giant winged beast. I will say the posing is a little generic. Like, I'm very curious about the design and decision to do human hands but chicken feet, because I feel like it does make it a little comical. Like, it's got its hands out like, I'm gonna get you, but then it's got talons.
Here's a really dumb bit. When does the Castlevania music start playing, as this thing is now the weird 2D boss you have to fight?
What, you think with the hands it's like in the background?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's got the color scheme for that. I don't know. But
also,
yeah, go ahead.
Never mind.
Why does he look like he also could be double as a Red Eyes Dragon?
Well, it's because it's red and black.
I know.
And it was GX era, so it makes some sense. It is a winged beast, though, obviously. Also from this era, a lot of card that was played in like Diamond Dude Turbo, DDT, shit like that was Feather from a Phoenix. They say that card is related to Nephthys, and it does. From the Dark Nephthys art, you can kind of see some feathers like that, but the card art on Phoenix of a Feather is literally just a Phoenix feather, so that I feel like is kind of open-ended, so I didn't pull that one up. Phoenix Wing Wind Blast is literally got Nephthys on it. But Dark Nephthys came out in the Dark set. What actually was it?
What's it? It was not the Eternal
Phantom
Darkness,
Darkness.
Phantom Darkness.
Phantom Darkness, yeah, which was late GX. That's the dad set. It's the dark version of Nephthys, so it has all the same effect as cards like Dark Armed Dragon and shit. It's a Dark Winged Beast, level 8, 24/16, so same stats as normal Nephthys. If you have 3 or more dark monsters in your graveyard and this card is in your hand, banish 2 of them, send this card from your hand to your graveyard. During your next standby phase, after this card was sent to the graveyard by this effect, special summon it. When this card is special summoned, target a spell trap. So Dark Nephthys saw some fringe play in dad-type dark decks, but the fact that it's you need 3, banish 2, then summon it on your next standby phase only by this effect to pop 1 spell trap, it's not really better than regular Nephthys. It's just that it has an inherent summoning condition. I definitely, during our Prog series, tried to play this in some dark tribal decks, but it's not optimal. It's just another fun tech card. But, again, Dad just lets you banish a dark to pop any card, so it's just not as good. Very sad. But this story isn't over. I figure we'll run through all of the OG vanilla Nephthyses first. By the way, we are not including Metaphys Nephthys in this, because that is a Metaphys card. While it is named after Nephthys, it does absolutely fucking nothing for Nephthys cards. It is 100% a Metaphys card. You'll have to wait until we decide to do that one on a fucking Fail Portrayal poll or something. But, just like with Chaos Creator, we got Chaos Nephthys. This was literally last year. This was in Battle of Chaos. What's an Ultra? Shit, I should see how much is it. Oh, it's a 7-cent Ultra. Okay, I should order me a playset just for funnies. So yeah, this is Chaos Nephthys. I feel like they've gotten a little bit better at the art. The hands are still very human. The hands part are still very humanoid. The arms look a little bit more mechanical, but I feel like they've gotten better with like the posing and the leg structure a little, because it's been, you know, like 20 years or whatever. I like the color scheme, like the purple and gold with some of the red highlights, you know?
A dumb thing, but this just makes me think of Nephthys, but this is like their mid, like it's the final act of the movie upgrade, or like the mid-season upgrade if it was a show.
Probably, you know, it is gold but also purple now. They've kind of been doing this blue and purple flame for Chaos for a long time, so, you know, it's got some vibes. Got some back and forth.
It's like some of it's opened up, weirdly enough.
Yeah, I think they added some spots where some flames can come out. But yeah, so Chaos Nephthys is a dark winged beast, so there's no light version. Maybe that's because Metaphys Nephthys was, but again,
there's not a Metaphys or Light Ray Nephthys.
There's no Light Ray Nephthys. No, that would probably complete the cycle. Metaphys Nephthys is a light, but it's a worm because it's a Metaphys card, so it's weird. But Chaos Nephthys is a dark winged beast, level 8, 2400 attack, 1600 defense, so the same stats. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by its own effect. If a card on the field is destroyed by a card effect, banish a light and a dark, except Chaos Nephthys. Special summon this card from your graveyard if it was there when the card was destroyed, or your hand, even if it wasn't in your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. If this card is special summoned, target 1 card your opponent controls and 2 cards in their graveyard, banish them. So, this card is not good in Nephthys decks because it requires lights and darks, but nobody's really talking about it, but I'm pretty sure Chaos Pile decks are getting good again. Obviously, Magical Ruler, you know, Chaos Dragon is banned. That was a really good synchro card to go into, but there are other actual Chaos synchros they're making. I would not be shocked if some of these cards are useful again. Honestly, I should look at that.
Let's go with Chaos and Dragon.
Well, you don't really.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, he's not. And Envoy of the End is not good anymore.
I think I might be misremembering which ones I'm thinking of.
Yeah, there's Chaos Emperor Dragon, Envoy of the End, but he's not really that great. And the Synchro guy is banned. In regular.
Banned? Okay.
Yeah, that's Magical Ruler, the Chaos Dragon. He's banned in the TCG. I think he's still okay in Master Duel at like 1. I don't know how much longer that'll live though. Because, you know, now we're getting Sprite Punk Engine shit, because they added Deer Note and stuff. But, yeah.
Zed, you missed out on Fath, normal Nephthys, Dark Nephthys, and now we're on Chaos.
Yeah. But Chaos Nephthys is honestly a decent card for Chaos decks. Yeah, actually, I should look at running... So, in Master Duel, guys, I don't really know what decks I want to run. I've got a lab deck. That deck will get better when they add a couple of those next new lab cards, but God knows when the fuck that'll be. I think the next big deck that I'm going to try and build is probably... It might be Live Twin Sprite, because I've got all the Live Twin shit already, just so I can do better, but it's probably going to be Danger Dark World with a new structure deck shit, because I fucking love Dark World, and Dangers are pretty funny, too. But honestly, when they add the Bestials, I might just try a Bestial Chaos. I don't want to build branded because there's 5 million ultra rares, and also I fucking hate branded. It's a deck that's really annoying to me because it just does whatever it likes. The only way to stop it is negates. I don't usually run negate heavy decks, and honestly, I'm glad we're out of the phase where we make like 50 negates, but branded is a deck where you literally can't do anything to stop any of its plays. They can fuse from wherever the fuck they like, and it's really dumb.
Yeah.
I think the only way to stop them is to, like, Dimension Barrier Call Fusion, which doesn't work if you're going second.
And kill the person playing branded.
I feel bad for liking branded, but I guess it's because it's like, I guess when you don't play something, you just grow hate for it.
Well, no, it's not when you don't play something. It's when you play against it and you always go, well, what the fuck do I do? They activate branded in red. They make Mirror Jade. Literally can't do anything. I try to bounce, what's-his-face, Lubellion? No, guess what? Even if you bounce or banish him, you can fucking fuse from wherever.
Sad to say, Omega, I feel like these words are wasted on Axe, the man with the luck.
Well, yeah, Axe just doesn't... I don't...
I also would probably play a deck that can, like, match up well.
First of all, Axe doesn't... I don't think Axe plays Master Duel at all, so he doesn't have these experiences.
I don't have time for that, but I have other things I need to do, because I only have, like, 6 hours in a day nowadays.
Well, then you probably shouldn't talk about liking or disliking archetypes. Loth and I speak from experience. I know Loth, like, logs in, like, at least once a month to play Master Duel for a couple of days.
Yeah, I play for a little bit and then get upset again.
Usually I play through a new season. Still working on my Karibo mate. But, like, when a new season starts up, I usually play. I have my most fun most of the time getting kicked back down to, like, silver or rookie or bronze. That said, sometimes some fucking people, like... I was running into some motherfuckers playing meta shit in silver, and I'm like, oh my god, the season has been open for like 2 weeks. Get the fuck out of silver already. Jesus.
Oh, it just means they probably logged just back in or something.
Yeah, I guess, but still, it's just so like, goddamn, guys. The point of me being in rookie and bronze and skipping seasons I don't care about is so that I can, I don't have to play against meta shitters.
I'm in bronze. I don't want to fight Runic. Like, what the fuck, Gabe?
Luckily, I don't know why. Maybe it's because people have been working on more hard counters. I have not been actually seeing a lot of people playing Runic and Ladder lately. Runic was all over the place in, like, the Duel Festival and shit, but they definitely, like, I feel like they stepped back a little, even though it's mostly the best deck. MBT and some others did the Master Circuit series and pretty much showed that your best shit is Sword Soul. I don't actually think Sword Soul is that bad.
Sword Soul, Math Mech, and then maybe Sprite?
No, Sprite wasn't out when they did the last Master Circuit.
Well, I'm saying like now Sprite's out.
I don't know if the build is the best, but
did you have to interrupt Omega for that one?
Yeah, especially to be wrong, because it's Math Mech and Branded. Branded Despia is like one of the best decks in Master Duel. I think the finale was 2 Branded Despia decks. After the semis was Branded versus Math Mech and Branded versus Math Mech. Yeah, I mean, that's okay. If Branded has advantage in the mirror match, that's funny. But, like, we've literally just come off a format where the fact that Tears had a skillful mirror bothered people because it made you have to use, like, 200% of your brain power.
Because no one wanted to play Tear unless you were actually, like, a good player.
Well, again, it requires 200% of your brain power. It's very skillful, but not a lot of people want to go through with that. God help us when they... Because they started with Sprite. God help us when they actually put Tier in Master Duel. That's going to be so fucking weird.
I don't know if they might pre-gut it before they put it in.
No, they won't. The only thing they've ever done pre is put to, like, 2. They semi-limit something. Like, they did that with Adventure. And I think they still had to limit some of those, like, a week or 2 later. We started with, like, Sprite Elf to 2, I think. And obviously they pre-hit Toad. I don't think there's anything you can do with that in Tier Laments other than maybe... boxing up Winda or Instant Fusion first.
I don't think they're going to put the Ishizu cards before they hit Tier, I think.
No, I think those cards in the order of releases come out later. The thing you're probably going to see is, like, Perlino to 2 to start or something weird like that. And you might see some out-of-archetype tech cards like Winda fucking bottled up. But that's probably about it. I don't even know, like I said, I don't even know what version of Sprite is the best in this weird build. Anyway. So that was Chaos Nephthys. Chaos Bestial shit might be cool in Master Duel. because much like X does, I also like Chaos decks. Chaos has always been really interesting and fun to me.
I like
but
certain Chaos decks.
Omega, I am sorry. I just remembered something. If I can tell a brief
go for it.
story I have.
I have to pull up our next card art. So
I surrendered to a man because this motherfucker played to share the pain against me, and I was like, okay, you win.
that's fair.
I
Game
surrender.
respects game. There are quite a few decks in Master Duel. If
Is it a
I
weird
legitimately, I had game.
no, share the pain doesn't
but
do that. That's tributes.
Yeah, tribute with no effect. So it was just like, I respect you. I surrender.
Okay, so much like a lot of those cards as well, you had Servants of Ra, Horus, Creator Incarnate, shit like that. When Nephthys came out in Flaming Eternity, they also had a weird little support card that didn't do a lot. But does kind of mean that they had the skeleton for an archetype. This is Hand of the Nephthys. Nephthys, by the way, we didn't talk about that, but Nephthys is an actual Egyptian god, specifically a goddess. That's why I say that the Sacred Phoenix is a lady.
It just looks like...
I'm pretty sure Nephthys is the Grecian spelling. The Egyptian is more like Nebutet. Though, again, we have a problem with Ancient Egyptian. The way that hieroglyphs work is there's a lot of flexibility in vowels, so that might be wrong.
Yeah.
But Nephthys is one of a block of brothers and sisters, the children of Nut and Geb, the earth and sky deities. So she is part of the quartet with Osiris, Isis, and Set. She is portrayed as Set's wife. So she's associated with night, the dead, protection, mourning. Not necessarily with, like, fire, but she is a protector of the dead. And there are some images of her associated with birds, like bird wing sets and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of work there. But definitely, like, at least they actually got a vaguely thematic character here. So this is Hand, yeah.
Two things came to me immediately when I saw this.
Yeah.
One, this feels like a kind of like a 2009 Kaz-art.
I mean, it's 05, so it's a little earlier than that, but this...
Oh, it's actually that early.
Yeah, no, this is still DMR. It's Flaming Eternity.
Oh, and it just looks like Nephthys in human form.
Yeah, this is the priestess that is mentioned in the solo mode. She is just the priestess of Nephthys, so I think there's some weird proportions here, like her hands and feet seem a little long for this pose, but yeah, no, it's just...
Kaz-art, yeah.
She's just wearing a Nephthys cosplay.
It makes you feel like she turns into the bird.
I believe that is what's supposed to happen, yes.
Yeah, offer up yourself to become bird.
But, and I actually, hold on. Yeah, no, this was uncensored. Somehow this was uncensored in the TCG, despite the fact that she's got noticeable underboob and has a belly button. Gasp. And a bare shoulder. Oh, my God.
It wasn't a popular card, I guess.
Yeah, I also think that they probably let it slide because, hypothetically, she's very modest. Like, she's got a lot of layers. Like, when the card is blown up to Master Duel size, you're like, oh, there's actually some detail in here. Damn, she got hot. But otherwise, you'd be like, what is this card? I can't see. I have to pull up my double monocle.
I can barely read the text now. I can barely look at the art.
Yeah. So, Hand is just a lady. She is a wind spellcaster. That's their thing. She's a level 2. She has 600. And her effect is you contribute this card and one other monster, special summon Sacred Phoenix from your hand or deck. So, pretty good. Lets you summon from deck to get it on the board. It sets up, but it requires 2 monsters, and it doesn't have really good stats on its own. So, not a great card, but definitely in the vibes of shit like Creator Incarnate, Servant of Horus, shit like that. So, it was okays. Nowadays, if you're trying to build an Nephthys deck, you don't fucking bother with Hand. It's maybe on an off chance because you do have some interactions with tributing, but once again, I would like to point out for modern archetype support, it says tribute this card on another card, not destroy this card on another card. So there are literal better versions of Hand. And yes, Dallas is here. Cool.
Yes, Dallas has shown up.
We're talking about Nephthys. We already yelled about the Master Duel Anniversary Series.
The what?
Master Duel's anniversary. It's been a year.
Oh, are they doing something for it?
Yes, they're doing lots of things.
Go check in trad games about it.
You
Look,
can log in and get some rewards. You can
I've
buy
been
special
not-
packs. You want to play Sprite, Dallas? Sprites are in Master Duel now.
Kinda, yeah.
Well, it's hey, they did the selection
Toad's
pack.
already banned, right?
Yes, Toad has been banned.
Then honestly, yes, I do. Unironically.
Well, then go for it. It's out. It's out. I've been talking about this. I don't know. I don't fucking know what version of Sprite is good. I might build Sprite Live Twin just for.
I'm going to build Runic Sprite because it's funny.
Right. You are a
I
monster.
don't know if it's good, but I'm going to.
I'm pretty sure it is good.
I hope I
You
never
can't play
come across
Mystic
Dallas
Mine,
in
but-
ladder. I
Oh
will
yeah,
kill
no, I'm
him.
not. This is gonna sound crazy. I don't play Runic as a stall deck.
Just play as a mill deck.
No, Dallas, I've never played against a Runic Stall deck. You know what they do? They kill me in 2 turns because they make me draw no cards.
Okay. You know that's how I play. Never
Yeah.
mind.
No, it's a mill
that's
deck.
what Runic. That's how Runic's designed.
It is a mill deck. It's just that some people thought they wouldn't mill fast enough, so they teched in Mystic Mine.
No, they
No.
mill me out
If you
super
know
quickly.
a good Runic deck gets in there. There's some strategies. We're not here to talk about counterplaying Runic. So basically, that was your OG. You got Sacred Phoenix in hand, and a little bit after you got Dark Nephthys, and obviously Chaos Nephthys, like I said, came out way later, but it was nice to talk about with all of the other Nephthyses. And then this archetype slept until 2018 to continue to not be good.
Are we not going to mention the not support?
Well, what do you mean?
We've gone through like 40 versions of
Entire
Nephthys already.
archetype that basically supported Nephthys.
No, we're not talking about Fire King. That's its own archetype.
Well, no, because it was inspired by Nephthys.
I don't think so.
Look at Garunix.
It's also enough to be its own thing.
Yeah, it's its own archetype. We don't need to drag in another archetype into this, Dallas.
No.
I just thought it was worth a mention, not necessarily.
I already did mention that is like the only time that Nephthys cards have top cut was in a Fire King deck. So yes, when we got to the Xyz era, there was synergy, and I would still say today you would still run Circle and probably Garunix just because he's a fucking funny guy. In
Also,
your
Omega-
Nephthys deck.
Not necessarily true. There have been other decks where weird one-off Nephthys cards have been in top cuts.
Anyway, I feel like we
no.
should bog this down right now.
Well, actually,
I'm
I don't know.
sorry.
Maybe some of the Hidden Summoners card, but I checked
The-
top
the
deck.
Link. Isn't the Link?
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't check that thoroughly.
A couple
I don't.
Of the Drytron builds.
Dallas, you're doing the thing again.
Axe, you don't get to call Dallas out
This
on
is
this.
also relevant to what we're talking about.
Well, we haven't gotten
So,
to the
like,
link
I'm
yet,
going
so we
off
can
on a
mention it. But
tangent.
when we get there, yeah. I guess I could see it because I think it is only ritual based.
Yeah,
We'll
it's
see when we
gonna
get
be
there.
ritual.
Because I did mention all of the cards that you're about to see in this block for now were released in Hidden Summoners as like Konami's big. Okay, we're turning Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys into an archetype now.
Yeah. this is
So,
a archetype now.
which was in the Link era. And once again, I would like to reiterate, that was the same pack that had Mayakashi and Prank Kids. So, guess what? Hand of Nephthys was the signature waifu archetype that goes nowhere. Thanks, Deck Build Pack.
I actually liked Mayakashi.
To be
I
fair,
mean,
Mayakashi
I will
didn't
say
go
this:
many places
Mayakashi did.
either.
I won't say Mayakashi as that didn't go anywhere. I'm pretty sure Mayakashi's.
got absorbed into the. Mayakashi got absorbed into the conglomeration that is Zombie Deck.
Yeah, and then they gave him a, and
zombie
then they gave him a
synchro
weird,
shit is
I'm
good.
still annoyed that then they gave Mayakashi a weird skill drain card. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, Ghost. Mayakashi meets. I don't remember. The fucking trap card is awful for both decks.
The
Nobody wants to
finale
play
of the
that.
story, essentially. Yeah.
Nobody wants to play that card. But yeah. So do I have the art on? Yeah, I have Chronicler of Nephthys on screen. So Konami was like, okay, we're gonna make this into an archetype. So it works like I said before. The ladies of Nephthys are level 2 wind spellcasters mostly. I think there might be some 4s in there, but they're wind spellcasters who are usually pretty low stats. And then the birds continue to be fire winged beasts. So there, you did see some tech options there. Again, I mentioned this earlier. Nephthys cards love to be destroyed, so Fire King cards naturally go together very well with them, especially because then you can search your big boys. And obviously, being a ritual archetype, there's going to be some ritual synergy you can work out there. Because spoilers, they're a ritual archetype now. So there's
Two
Chronicler.
things.
And then And if you're a gremlin like me, it also summon. Well,
Dallas broke up a little bit there. Axe, go ahead.
Yeah, Dallas did break up.
But
oh, I did. Oh, I was
Okay,
gonna
Dallas
say
let
gremlin
Axe.
like I
Axe
am.
did stop before you did.
Sympathizes with you, Val. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I literally couldn't hear.
He was glitching out. Axe, go.
okay, sorry. Just I'm being able to breathe right now. But
Two things.
one, I'm not sure if this is racist, but it feels like her and Hand are related. I'm
Oh,
not sure if
boy.
that's just the style or not.
Oh, boy.
I mean, that's
I feel
possibly
super
slightly
racist.
racist. I don't know if I would say
feel
they're
super-
related. We literally talked about the lore. They are supposed to be all one tribe or country.
That is like, it feels like a gut punch when you're like, no, this person wanted to speak, and they start off with the phrase, "This might not be racist, or might be racist," but
I want to give you a pro-life tip that I learned very early.
Just never try.
If
Just
you
never go
have
with
to
that.
make this statement, I don't know if this is racist, but don't say it.
Fair
Skip it.
enough.
Skip it.
Don't say it. 90%
Fair
of
enough.
the time,
Okay,
yes, it's
the
racist.
other one is the idea of them being destroyed. The idea of like going with this is probably stupid and obvious, but the whole Phoenix rise from the ashes aesthetic.
Yes, well. I mean, that's what the original card did. Was it had its effect only triggers to summon itself when it is destroyed. So I assume that's why they all are like, okay, that's our thing. We're destroyed. We burn up to do our stuff. So art-wise, Chronicler looks a little bit definitely like. I mean, thematically, I think she is supposed to be similar to Hand.
Yeah, she just looks really similar, and I was like, I
Because
just felt
she's
weird
got
about
very
it.
similar costumes. It's all very uniform. She's wearing pants now, though, I think, which is very different.
Also, she has longer hair.
Her
Yeah,
hair
she has
seems
much
very
longer
similar.
hair. She's got kind of like, rather than the weird hat that Hand has, she has, a kind of like headdress with the tinier bird on it.
Instead of like the
I'll say
weird
this, her
sacrificial
clothing
mask
looks a lot
thing.
more normal than Hands. Hands is a lot more ornamental, whereas this is like
Yeah.
functional.
Hand was a little more over the top. This is a little more reserved. She's got a scroll. It's got some stuff on it. She's the chronicler, so it makes sense that she's got a big scroll.
Actually, I
There's some
get
stuff
very like Scheherazade vibes from this. Like not FGO Scheherazade, but like the traditional depictions of Scheherazade, the storyteller.
I'm pretty sure if I pulled up the Scheherazade Magic the Gathering card, she would be in a similar pose. But
Now
yeah,
that you mention it, probably. But
Yeah.
most drawings of Scheherazade are like
yes.
opening the scroll.
I do
and
also want to
looking at
throw out there. I think it is fair to make comparisons to Hand. They call it Chronicler because it makes more sense in English, but her Japanese name translates to Chronicling Hand of Nephthys. So there's definitely supposed to be some similarity there.
The whole order
Uh,
just be called the Hand of Nephthys.
I think
one
we'll,
thing I'd
we'll
like
see
to
through the news.
say is, as per usual, despite fixing everything, we can always hear Dallas's silverware.
Well, he
Yeah,
was
I wonder if
speaking
it's
at the
like-
same time.
Oh yeah, Dallas. So you like did your mic get switched again?
I don't think so. He was actually a little soft for me. I had to boost him up a little.
Can you hear that?
No, I didn't hear
We
anything.
can hear it that time.
I think it's just because he's talking while he's eating, like a rube. Anyway, Chronicler of Nephthys is a wind spellcaster, level 2, 300 attack, 1200 defense. You can target a Nephthys card in your graveyard except Chronicler, destroy a card in your hand. If you do, add the targeted card to your hand. During your next standby phase, after this card was destroyed, by card effect this into the graveyard, add an Nephthys card from your graveyard to your hand except Chronicler. You can only use each effect of Chronicler once per turn. So Chronicler on the field can add a card back from your graveyard if you need to by destroying a card, which can set up card effects like Sacred Phoenix, etc. And then when it is destroyed, if you pop it, obviously not for its own effects, you can then add back a card from your graveyard. So Chronicler is your recycler. I'm pretty sure you would play a couple of these if you're trying a pure Nephthys build. Not that, like I said, there's no accepted pure Nephthys build out there. And also, it wouldn't even be pure, because like I said, you'd probably be running Garunix and like 3 Circle of the Fire Kings, or Fire King Island or something. Like, there's some weird shit in there. But, yeah, Chronicler is not great. In general, I want to say this. I've always really loved Nephthys because it has a very vaguely Egyptian aesthetic. They've also got some other uniquely Yu-Gi-Oh! Type shit going on in there. But old school Sacred Phoenix is a pretty neat card because it's a weird bird dragon and it's got all the fucking, like I said, Yugi Boomer playground boss monster shit. And I do think that generally their playstyle, much like Fire King's, is somewhat unique and very interesting cards that plus off being destroyed or even destroy themselves. So that's cool. Their main problem is just they're way too fucking slow because they all say during your next standby phase, which means on the turn where you play all these cards, you don't get shit. And your opponent gets their entire turn. So it's a very weird deck to play even back in, like, I think even in MR4 years in 2018, Yu-Gi-Oh! Would have been a little too fast for these to really take off.
Honestly, do you think they ever printed will they have ever printed a card where Nephthys effects happen in your opponent's standby?
I mean, they might print cards that have effect in standby, but no, you can't. There's only so much things you can do to, like, just fucking change what cards do with other text. Like, you could probably do a field spell that says, you know, you can special summon your Nephthys cards during your opponent's standby phase when they would be anyway, but, like, probably a much better effect would just be give a field spell that says during your opponent's standby phase, destroy a Nephthys card on your field or hand, special summon a Nephthys monster from your graveyard with a different name than the card that was destroyed or some shit. Like, it's so much more efficient to just make a card that does that anyway without having to fuck with all your old cards.
Actually, Mega, are you not thinking big enough? And like, why not say destroy a card in your deck?
I mean, yeah, you could do that.
I feel like it'd make it.
But I don't. First of all, I don't know if anything destroys from deck yet. I don't even know if that works. Like, I don't know if destroy is a keyword you can apply to your deck. So
I mean, you can destroy a card in hand.
Yeah, because it's a card in hand. Like, a card in hand has an identity. A card in your deck, like, does that work?
According to board state, does not exist yet.
I mean, the weirdest thing is
Because
the
it's
hand
face
itself
down.
is not a zone, as per the board dimensions of Yu-Gi-Oh itself. It's just
it's not a card in your hand is not a card you control, but it is a card that exists. Like, because you have knowledge of what's in your hand, that card is basically, for lack of a better term, cards in your hand are face up in your hand. Oh, Dallas did leave. Maybe his internet exploded.
Your deck also exists equivalently as your graveyard exists.
Well, but your graveyard is face up, X. Your graveyard is open information. Both players know what's in your graveyard at all times. Other players don't know what's in your deck. So, like, you could do a, like, search your deck, destroy a card, but it's just one of those things where, like,
this card.
I don't know if there's any precedent for that, so I'm not going to assume Konami would start there. They could, but I don't know if there's any interaction for that.
What you could do is have a Nephthys card that says send from deck to graveyard, and then in brackets, this counts as a destruction effect.
Yeah, you could also do that. There's some substitutions there.
Like,
I don't really... Usually, I like to theory craft about what a deck needs. I don't actually know what Nephthys needs to be good. I think it needs a whole new second wave of support that, like, probably gives them more spell traps, because they've got a lot of monsters, and when we get to their ritual monsters, some of those cards are fucking stupid. When we talk about Conductor is a crazy card.
Do they need, I guess, in archetype Senju, Choju, and...
No, they have ways to search, especially searching off destruction.
Manju.
The main thing they need is probably they need interaction that's not just destroy cards. Like, they probably need an archetype negate, like, when your opponent activates a spell trap or monster effect, destroy a Nephthys card in your hand or field, negate that effect,
and
destroy it.
It just hit me. Actually, what if they have a thing that's like Dark World, where instead of making it be all effects become discard, all card effects become destroy a card?
That would be pretty funny to give them a Dark World type shit where, like, when your opponent activates a card effect, instead they destroy a card in your hand or something. Probably make it random still, so there's a chance that you fuck up if you don't have a handful of Nephthys cards. But yeah, there's, like, definitely plays you can make. Let's move on from Chronicler, though. And Axe, to answer your question from earlier, I do think that if I'm reading the translation of Defender correctly, they might all just be called Hand of Nephthys.
That might be the name of the order then, yeah.
Because in Japanese, this is Defending Hand of Nephthys. Again, Defender, much better.
Yes, and Omega. Then the next set of support will be the Talons of Nephthys.
I mean, that would be
Honestly,
pretty fun.
That would work, yeah.
So, I mentioned earlier that for the most part, Nephthys cards have a vaguely Egyptian aesthetic. This is not that. This is much more Yu-Gi-Oh's, arguably, I would say, kind of their generic warrior type look. She's got, a weird sword. She's got armor. It's got pauldrons. The pauldron has a feather in it.
She makes me think of, like, I don't know if this is the right word to say it, like Arabian Desert Paladin.
No, I mean, because we can say this because we can cross promote our Final Fantasy 14 stream series. That is actually a thing. Like the paladins in 14 are based in Ul'dah. Yeah. Like they're based in the desert city. So no, I think that's a fair comparison. That's in people's mindsets.
Speaking of that, I thought about a retrain for Nephthys. Trimal Nephthys.
Honestly, yeah, that works.
They do pray to the Sacred Phoenix.
Yeah, there's
And
some funny there. But yeah, so this, yeah, it does have kind of vibes like Gilgamesh's armor. Yeah. I mean, I don't think this is a bad armor design. She has some spikes, but they're not like crazy bad. They're like on the knees and on the sides of her legs, pretty normal. That sword is super not functional, but
that's like an Egyptian super feather or something.
Yeah, it's a phoenix feather sword.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Welcome
Yes,
back,
you
Alice.
exist.
Okay.
We're
I
looking.
don't know if I'm going to be able to continue doing this just because my internet seems to not want to internet tonight.
Okay. Well, do your best, and if you can't internet, that's how it be. Yeah, I was gonna say this. I don't think Defender's sword is very practical, but I like 9-branched swords. They're kind of a fun aesthetic, so it's okay.
Again, it partially just feels more like it's pseudo ceremonial.
It probably
It
is.
does my personal pet peeve of golden armor, which I just always hated.
Well, it's Nephthys colored.
I mean, yeah. That's
Yeah,
that's
but-
one of those things where like it was always going to be gold because that's just how Nephthys'
No,
color
I
scheme is.
understand.
It's weirdly like
I'm not-
greenish yellow, honestly, in my mind.
It's a little greenish, yeah. I like some of the other like the white and the orange for the cloak matching the feather. Very good. She's also apparently wearing tights under her skirt and armor leggings. Got to be athletic. But yeah, Defender.
Wait, this is a she?
Yes.
They're all ladies.
I'm pretty sure they're
Okay.
all chicks. Got a ponytail and got
To be fair,
anime
this one
girly
is
eyes.
very ambiguous.
I was expecting Dallas to follow it up with. I got some pictures to delete from my hard drive.
It's a little. I mean, yes. I don't think that she's drawn particularly like feminine, but you know, we got a high ponytail, very classic for sporty ladies. Got a skirt on over tights, and like I said, she's got anime girl eyes, and I think literally all of the other Nephthys cards are identifiably female. So. Including Nephthys
Wow.
herself. You missed the part where we talked
made
about
me think of,
robot chicken tits.
You gave me the
Is-
perfect chance for a llamas and hats reference.
What?
No, I got it. I got it.
It's being weird. So Defender is a wind spellcaster. Don't mind the sword. It's like Breaker over here. Level 2, 1400 attack, 200 defense. So an okay attempt at giving a stat line for a level 2 monster. During your main phase, destroy one card in your hand. If you do, special summon a level 4 or lower Nephthys monster from your hand, except Defender. During the standby phase, if this card is destroyed by card effects into the graveyard, destroy a Nephthys monster. Oh, actually, no, this does say that, Axe. Destroy a Nephthys monster in your deck. So, yeah, they've already got that.
I just didn't know that.
Yeah,
Somehow.
I was like, I don't remember if you can destroy that way. So, yeah, okay, you can destroy in deck.
Considering how send and destroy are separate effects, and foolish burial exists as a card, you could just do it but destroy.
I'll say this. I don't think Defender is particularly good. Like I've personally,
No.
because I have built this deck a couple of ways. I have never used this in any variant.
I think the only way you would use Defender is for that destroy in deck effect. Basically, blow her up with another card effect to like make Chronicler work or something, and then trigger the destroy because that lets you, get the cards rolling out of your deck. The problem is that, as always, you might have been away when I was talking about this. The fact that almost everything triggers in your next standby phase makes Nephthys really slow and really hard to get going.
I think the biggest issue for me is that like you said, in the Fire King destruction heavy build of Nephthys, it's too slow.
Yeah.
And in the pure ritual variant of Nephthys that I've seen built a couple of times, it's just not practical.
Yeah, I think Defender's main problem is that her actual like on-board effect isn't actually that good. I think I see what they were going for. They did a really interesting thing, I think, with Nephthys, where they made it a ritual and a link deck. They provided them with link monsters and ritual monsters. So Defender is trying to let you get more materials for more links, but it's not really worth it most of the time. There are
I
way
need to
better
check
extenders.
something.
So
What set did this come out in?
Hidden
It was
Summoners,
right?
yeah.
like that deck build pack.
I
Yeah.
need to check what year a set came out because I have a
It was
feeling this
by
might have
Akashi
been
and Prank
in-
Kids,
Well,
so
no, no,
was
he's
it
trying to think of
20?
other sets.
Okay.
No, it was 2018, right? Hidden
Yeah,
Summoners.
2018 was
When
Hidden
in
Summoners.
2018? I need to see.
Ah,
I'll
okay,
get
check.
that done.
Depending on
November.
when it came out, this might. Oh yeah, no. Omega, you want to know why this card is irrelevant?
Yeah?
Do you know what card came out in October, or series of cards?
Which ones?
The Incantations.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
fair.
yeah,
This card
yeah,
is
no.
pointless.
Yeah, you can just add more materials. You don't need shit. You can
No,
summon guys for days.
Like there
You know-
are good Nephthys main deck monsters. This is just not one of them.
I have
Neither is
the
particularly strong.
the double foolish burial for dragon. That was called Dragon Shrine, right?
Yes.
Honestly, I feel like we're
And
just
that is
saying-
only a dragon and a normal dragon.
Yeah, so a card that came to mind to me was like they could make, because I originally thought about like, what if they made a double foolish? Oh wait, then what if they made it like multi-conduction? Like no, actually. I
There
thought
are
about it.
foolishes that foolish multiple cards.
Or else
They're
it's
just
sort of
usually
like a card that's
type or
like you
archetypal.
destroy a Nephthys card in your deck, and then if you do destroy another card in your deck and send it to grave.
So
The
this,
problem is the payoff for Nephthys is too slow.
yeah, the getting your cards out, they can be pretty cracked, but getting your cards out is rough. So we continue down the line. Speaking of main deck monsters that are
good
good,
card.
yeah.
Is that
Uh,
Child Nephthys?
This
head?
is
'Cause that's
Disciple
what
of
that
no,
hat's
no,
looking.
no.
You cheap
At
it.
least according to the Master Duel lore, Hand is
This
the
is
first.
like the Wicker Man style sacrifice.
Hand
right?
is the first priest, and then that she's not priestessy enough, so they get a destined child, which is this
Become
one.
the-
Yeah.
This is
become the-
Disciple of
become
Nephthys, the praying hand of Nephthys. And so, yeah, I mean, this is just a priestess, but, she's small. So she's
like
I
a
like
leopard.
that she has chicken feathers.
she's trying on the normal hat. She's got a white feather that's not a phoenix feather yet. I mean, I like the look on her, like, little arm things. And I just want to shout out the fucking, the ombre here on the fucking red to black for her hair.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. It's like, yeah, her hair is like.
I mean, this is literally my Final Fantasy 14 character's hair. I have,
This is mine.
drills.
Yeah, it's mine, but blue.
Yeah.
Viera has special hair. Or I guess
But
Viera
I,
has it
yeah,
all.
Well,
I
you
have
can do
the
it with
I have the
non-hair.
aura drill hair, but it's just this color and this style. Like
Yeah.
it's a thing.
I have the drill hair too
Yeah.
because it's cool.
But yeah, so like she's wearing a version of the Hand of Nephthys helmet. It's a little too big for her, so it's
I
kind of
don't-
funny. But
I've never
don't
seen like the
the
bronze one. though.
implications of this card, but
well, they're not that bad because when we get to a later card, but there's definitely some stuff going on in Nephthys for what we're doing for praying. But Disciple.
Arise, chicken arise.
Disciple is a level 2 wind spellcaster. She has 0 attack and 2k defense. Pretty decent stats. Those are Protect Rat stats. During your main phase, destroy a card in your hand. Add a Nephthys monster from your deck to your hand except Disciple. During your next standby phase, after this card was destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, add a Nephthys spell trap from your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. So, obviously, it's destruction effect. Little slow to get spell trap searches, but you do already have your archetype searcher, and when you summon it, during your main phase, you can destroy a card to just add another Nephthys monster. So, Disciple is your searcher. She is indeed pretty good and actually played because just consistently one of your better searchers. And also has a fucking stat line.
Yeah,
like- Literally the only main deck Nephthys card that can do anything ever.
I wouldn't. Well, okay, yeah, no, I guess you're right.
No, I think the closest you get is I used it as the bed art, but their continuous trap Awakening gives all your Nephthys monsters 300 attack and defense, so that can make Defender 1700. That's it. All of the other rest of them have terrible stats other than the ritual monsters. So, like,
Oh, yeah.
it's not really that great. So we have one more non-ritual main deck monster to talk about.
It was also fairly decent.
It's time for Mommy of Nephthys, Matriarch.
Matsuyaka. Yeah.
So, it's just more of the costume. She has even more of a, like, refined style, got a slightly different headdress.
Eyes slightly open.
You can see that I think they're going for her being, like, older because she's got, like, some graying in her hair. she's definitely very senior. I
Manifest
will
emotions
say
behind
the
her.
silhouette of her headdress and her dress, the coloration is slightly different with the orange, but I feel like they're deliberately invoking Ishizu Ishtar's silhouette here, which is
I
funny.
was about to say.
I didn't see that before. I think she's got her full Nephthys bird hat like on her belt.
Oh, gee,
Oh, yeah.
you guys.
I really thought it was like
No,
I
it's okay,
really
can go.
noticed because it also reminded me of the
Center that little
what was the name of the paladin's card? I forget. God,
defender.
Defender. It gives you like sort of like defender's armor, like at least in the legs and like the shoulders.
Well, they all have the same like leg type stuff.
Like, I can't quite tell how hot that material is for the pants, but it makes me feel like trying to walk is like.
Yeah,
It feels like-
I'm in agreement.
It feels like overlapped leather.
It's very
It's time to
shiny, so it
waddle.
could be metallic. I mean, she's already wearing like a bodycon type leg dress. You can't. There's not a lot of motion
So,
there.
quick thing. This might get me punched by Omega. I put a thing in the chat. Is that true or not? Because I don't feel like I want to say that out loud.
No, Nephthys is a chick. Remember, we had this discussion. Nephthys
That doesn't
is the
mean
goddess
anything.
of the priestesses.
That doesn't mean anything.
It just means that whatever.
I'll say it so that chat can yell at Loth. Loth uttered the phrase, so Nephthys is a lolicon. And I'm like, I don't know. That's not really how that's supposed to work.
It's
But they need a young.
The sacred...
well, because she's gonna be sacrificed to
it's-
turn into the bird.
It's also just because that's how fucking...
Japan views. Look, I'm not gonna. not Japan.
Honestly,
Not
I'm
gonna
not
use
even saying Japan. That's just everybody's
Kazuki
take.
Takahashi.
No, it's. I don't even think it's Kaz. It's literally everybody. Like every culture is like,
cultures.
"Yo, give me a sweet innocent girl child."
Well, no, I'm just saying. I have always held the opinion that Kazuki Takahashi has a very interesting idea of what ritual entails.
Well,
And
yeah. I
would
mean, I
probably
don't.
Would probably be very disappointed if he observed actual rituals still going on, which are much
Well,
more boring.
it's
The-
Japanese occultism, which is
The
a bit different.
rituals. I mean, the ritual summon effect was established a long time ago as like tribute. The word tribute is used, but then you combine. It's a little weird, and I don't even know if the ritual summoning effect has ever really encapsulated like what the manga was going for.
Well, because every ritual has like a different. Like, if you really look into it and go full nerd weeb on it, every ritual has a slightly different way they're tributing or sacrificing. Like, you have the Necrons who are putting on armor. You have the Drytron who are essentially Voltroning with each other into giant space.
And
creatures. You
even
have-
even with like the old school like duel monster stuff, like the results of like black luster ritual, chaos ritual to like
You're
ascend
revitali-
light
you're,
and dark to make a big warrior guy is
you're
different than like,
revitalizing the armor, essentially. Yeah.
well, it was, you use two monsters to open a gateway between light and darkness to summon Chaos Soldier. Relinquished was very weird because it was a one mat, right? Like it's just like a weird creepy guy. Whereas
it's like supposed to be some kind of demon or something. That's
Yeah.
Like, you unlock
Whereas
the seal.
Magician of Black Chaos, right, is like that's through like some sort of ritual dedication. Dark
If you
Magician
wanna
gets
go with
more
the,
focused.
Like, technically the most traditional occult ones, I'm honestly going to go with like Crab Turtle and Fortress Whale, because they are legitimately the traditional like depiction
Yeah.
of like throw the person into the sea to summon the sea monster.
Well, and Crab Turtle's ritual literally shows a Shinto style like
Yeah.
like containing vessel. Like, hey, the turtle god is held in this weird shell with the fucking sacred rope and shit. Do not open
Same thing with,
turtle
Same
inside.
thing with that other one for Middle Eastern style rituals. It's I can't remember what it's called. It's a similar. It's from the same set and is similarly useless.
Shinato is also very similar. I don't because that was in a filler arc, but still,
Well,
like
that's a whole. That's more into like Kabbalah and theology stuff.
well, also I mean it's also very Shinto, as he is called Shinato,
Yeah.
King of the Higher Plane. So like, it's like Axe said earlier, it is a lot of the weird Japanese occultism take on stuff.
Well, Shinato is specifically Shinto mixed with very explicitly Catholicism, or not Catholicism, Judeo-Christianity, considering it's summoned by, and I will never let them live this down,
Ark.
Noah's Ark.
Yeah, I mean there are some boat metaphors in some Shinto. Play an Okami sometime, chat. But yeah, it's like Shinato's arc being the
Was
thing that like
Noah.
carries the god through the flood. Yeah, like they did some weird wordplay in the filler shit that they had to like fucking backfill. There is a lot of weird ritual shit.
The post office basically has like Hikona Sukuna, which is the Kami of I think Harvest, which is known for like pushing a boat.
There are also some. There are also like there are just ritual monsters that should be ritual monsters, like Doku Rider. Like I think that guy was just a fiend in
That
the
should have been just
manga.
should have been a fusion.
And then there's
so stupid. I love
there's
him.
one that is like very explicitly supposed to be Raphael, because for some reason, and I will never forget that this happened because it's so fucking weird. They made his backstory the plot of a video game. Raphael, being of darkness or whatever.
Mm.
Yeah. There's this game called like I think. Oh god, what was it called?
I'm
It's
also
one of
just,
the old
I'm just
GBA
thinking also by the
games.
way of Zera the Mant from the turn at Battle City. You know, that's also just the you sit in the weird demon chair and become a demon.
It's the thing of like Zera. It's like Zera's journeys, and like in some cases become a demon, become an angel, or in some cases just becomes a corrupted.
Chat,
Well, that's
the man.
Zerato. That's Zerato. Zera the
Okay.
Mant is a
Anyone
different guy.
remember the game I'm talking about, or am I just gonna be?
They might. Chat's being a little quiet while we yell about ritual
It's like
monsters.
a GBA game.
Anyway, make sure
Oh,
she's
I
cool.
found
I
it.
like her.
Forbidden Memories.
Oh, that was Forbidden Memories? Okay, yeah. That's pretty well known to
Pretty
people.
sure, right? Hold on. Is it?
Probably.
Yeah.
A lot of the old GBA and like early Game Boy type games had some weird stuff.
No, it's not Forbidden Memories. Never mind.
Okay, different game.
It's
you're
gonna be a
thinking
tiny image.
of. Was it Red Chef of Destruction?
Yeah, it is Reshef of Destruction. Okay.
Here you go,
Sounds like
Axe. That boy.
No,
Yeah.
Zera, I know it.
Yeah, that's just a guy.
I
I
was
believe,
just thinking of
the,
the
I
connection
believe the
together.
ritual spell is just an evil chair that you sit in. Now that might have Zerato on it, like retroactively.
Dancer of yeah, that's what it was. It's like Dancer of Sword or something.
Sword dancer.
Let me
Yeah.
follow up again.
There was like a very explicit like Middle Eastern ritual like vase in the art, but once again, it was in the crab turtle era, so it didn't do anything.
It is Zerato sitting on a chair.
Yeah.
And then also, we cannot forget, Omega, the most potent ritual to ever be created, who is now getting his own archetype, Hungry Burger.
Hungry
We talked about
burger.
it earlier.
Yeah, I mentioned Nuvalas a little. That's gonna be so fun. I'm glad that they decided not to like retrain Hungry Burger, but to just make it like, well, you end on a level 6 ritual monster, so if you want to summon Hungry Burger, we'll just let you do some shit. He'll fucking eat some
I
guys.
actually think that deck is going to genuinely be good.
Yeah, I was talking about that
As an
earlier.
as a counter meta pick.
Just tribute your opponent's entire board
Yeah.
shit. That's funny.
It's gonna-
I'll
it's
play it
gonna
in
be
Master Duel.
the Exo Sister category of like. This isn't a good deck necessarily, but it's very good at being
It is
annoying to
Toronto.
the meta.
So, you guys have seen some
The
things like
unfortunately the
security, right?
meta deck. Sorry to cut you off, Loth. I was just gonna say the deck that's gonna be meta out of that deck build pack, unless the Versus card or VS cards are really good, is gonna be Transcend Drake, because that's just, hey, guess what? You know Dinosaur Turbo? What if we gave them fucking more Xyz, more Synchro monsters?
Well,
What if
the
we gave them a
Synchro
Rhoda that's a
monsters are
fusion?
Bad. Yeah, no, that fucking spell card is dumb.
So
Holy
it is.
crap.
Go ahead, Loth.
It is in essence the Hungry Burger archetype deck now. Is literally just that one guy from Kirby. He throws every enemy into the pot. You're all
Yeah, kind of.
still-
There are, some weird, like, ritual shits. Like, obviously they've done ritual retrains and stuff. I think rituals got weirder when we got to GX. I don't know what the fuck a Machine Angel ritual is, you know? Like, the
They were worked on that.
Cyber Angels are like Devas or Asuras, but mecha. And I'm like, okay, interesting.
And was that like the pseudo retrains us like next wave support for them, wasn't it?
No.
Because
No,
Was there initially one?
Cyber
No.
Angel.
That
was
Cyber
in
Angel was
her-
not Alexis's first deck,
No, it
but
wasn't her first deck, but it's not. It doesn't have anything to do with Cyber Blader, other than one of its materials can be used in it.
and it does have
But-
Saiba. They all have like Saiba in their name, but that doesn't mean anything.
Well, no, they don't, because one of the materials is called Blade Skater.
Oh, but yeah, I just mean the cards that are related that way do have that Saiba effect. Demise is also another like classic old school like weird like ritual thing where we're like we fucking nuked the world to summon a big guy. Anyway,
we eventually gonna do that archetype?
We did it already.
No, we already did.
Yeah, that was a solo mode. We did that earlier. Dallas has been sick, everybody. That's why he doesn't remember anything and can't speak and sneezes sometimes. I'll give Dallas an excuse.
I do have an excuse this time.
So, I don't think we actually talked about what Matriarch does yet. So, Matriarch is a wind spellcaster level 2, 600-600. So, again, not really doing any crazy stats there. You can target a level 4 or lower Nephthys monster in your graveyard except Matriarch and destroy a card in your hand if you do special summon the target monster in defense position but negate its effects. During your next standby phase after this card was destroyed, you can special summon it. So, Matriarch loops herself when destroyed. You can only use each once per turn, by the way. And then she lets you get them out of your graveyard. So she is another decent card because she lets you get more monsters on board and set up destruction effects. The main thing is just you need to have graveyard presence to do it. That's another thing that kind of blocks up Nephthys cards. A lot of them require targeting monsters that are already in your graveyard. And it's like, well, how do I get here? What do I actually do, you know? In general, your best hope, your prayer is open Disciple. Like, if you can open Disciple, you can always blow up a card to search a card, and that can, like, put some shit in your graveyard. But other than that, a lot of them have weird, like, transitional effects. I don't... Like, that I think is Nephthys' other problem, because all of them are destroy. None of them have, like, when summoned, do X, you know, kind of a thing. They need probably some spicier starters, and they probably need some spell traps that do some stuff. Not to say that their spell traps don't do stuff, but they do only have, like, 3 of them. But let's talk about their ritual monsters. Alphabetically, we're going to start with the big boy. It's the ritual version of Nephthys. Literally, its name is... Well, so, funnily enough, in Japanese, it is just blue. It's Blue Phoenix God of Nephthys. It's rendered as Cerulean Sacred Phoenix in English, which I think works better. And it is indeed literally just Nephthys, but blue. Also, she's got, like, extra eyes. Like, her eyes are detailed now. That's a little creepy. But yeah, no, it's just Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys, but blue.
She doesn't look happy about being blue.
No, I think she's a little upset. Blue flames are hotter, so, you know, and blue frequencies of light are you know, more energetic. So that's cool. Sacred Phoenix is a card you do play because it is basically one of your better boss-type monsters. It is a Firewinged Beast level 8, but unlike Nephthys, it has, regular Sacred Phoenix, it is a great stat line in that it's got 3k attack and 1000 defense. So you can ritual summon this card with Rebirth of Nephthys. You can use each of the following effects of Cerulean Sacred Phoenix once per turn. During your main phase, destroy Nephthys cards in your... You may destroy Nephthys cards in your hand or face-up field, destroying equal number of monsters your opponent controls. So just nuke. During your next standby phase, if after this card was destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, special summon it. And it's a 3k beater. Cerulean Sacred Phoenix is just a better card. Like, it is a ideal card to summon forth in your Nephthys. It is a big, tough guy. She does a lot for your deck in that you can destroy any number of cards to activate their effects. You get to destroy your opponent's monsters when you do this. And then, again, this was kind of I think one of the original weaknesses of Sacred Phoenix was it was kind of a low-statted monster, and it only worked by card effect destruction. So, guess what? Now it's by battle too. If they can out your 3k beater, it comes back.
Is it like slightly streamlined in like material, or is it like still just the weird mechanical hybrid? Normally is, but blue.
No, it's still just all armor. Speaking of which, let's pull up the ritual spell, Rebirth of Nephthys. It is, you can see all of the ladies and the rest of the tribe praying. You can see Disciple back there. They're praying to the statue, and Cerulean is going to come out of the statue because it's blue. So Rebirth of Nephthys can be used to ritual summon any Nephthys ritual monster. You must tribute monsters from your hand or field whose levels equal or exceed, so it is a good ritual spell. Thumbs up. if you tributed a Devotee or Cerulean Sacred Phoenix, destroy a card on the field. So how that works is Devotee is another one of their ritual monsters. So basically, if you do the classic move where you tribute the ritual for the ritual, you get to destroy a card when you activate Rebirth. So Rebirth is a all-right ritual spell. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. It does have an extended effect. It'd be really cool if it like could banish itself to protect or something. I don't know, but it can still get you ahead by letting you pop your opponent's cards. And it does not, I won't say it unbricks you, it encourages you to debrick yourself by, like I said, sacking rituals for rituals. And then we're going to pull up Devotee. So, Devotee is a ritual version of a priest. I think it might be Hand. The fashion gods have not been kind to Devotee, I don't think.
Yeah, this art is a choice. This fashion is a choice.
Like, parts of this outfit are okay. She's wearing kind of like another... She's got a lot of layers for the desert, and not in, like, the desert layers way, because she's wearing, like, an armored tunic over a long dress over a skirt.
I think the headpiece is okay because of her job, essentially.
I was going to say something along the lines of, like, at a distance it looked alright, but now blown up like this, it's a bit... It's a
little busy. It's a little busy. She's got, like, a neck piece and then her, chest piece. She's got her helmet.
I think the neck and chest area are what really kills this.
And I gotta be honest, I don't know where the fuck this metal scarf thing is coming from, because, like, it's not... Is it attached to the back of her neck?
I think I think it's connected to, like, her collarbone.
No, because you can see it's not her armpits, because you can see the ruff under it. So, yeah, I think it's connected to the back of her neck piece.
I think
which is under her weird headdress, which is
I think of the previous card, or at least before the ritual spell card, it's like not...
Also, I do want to throw this out there. She's got extreme noodle body going on, because you can see foot, knees, waist, bends in, shoulder, like...
This is almost assuredly traced from No art.
There's a lot of noodle person action going on here.
Honestly, I feel like it's also just... They wanted to show her, like, weirdly standing up from, like, kneeling.
No, this is... Trust me, as someone who's read a lot of 90s comic books, this is 100%... This is traced from something not very wholesome.
This is like a 2018 card.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't mean it wasn't traced. There's a lot of extra detail in here. Like, there's some nice shading,
Artists
but
haven't suddenly gotten shitter over the last, like...
There are parts of it that are okay, but there's a lot of it that's just like, there's so much going on here.
It feels like it's more, like, held down by that it's trying to emulate Cerulean Phoenix.
Yeah, guest artist claim. Well, I mean, that's the problem. Like, I don't think the blue part does anything wrong, right? And that's the thing. That's the only part of Cerulean Phoenix it is specifically aping, because Cerulean Phoenix is literally just Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys, but blue. I think that Hand was a better attempt at making an outfit look like Sacred Phoenix than this is. This has way too many layers and extra bits and shit, and it's like...
This is way too busy. This is peak 2017 Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah,
even though it is 2018.
This is... Hey, it's the Link era. We just have monsters covered in, like, 5 things.
I don't
Honestly,
thank God she's only got, like, 3 Konami orbs, and technically those not even orbs. They're flat.
Here's the fun thing I've noticed. It's always the archetypes that have nothing to do with the anime that have this issue, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's... Actually, no. You know what, Dallas? That does make sense. Let me say why it makes sense. Because that means that an underpaid, underfed anime storyboard artist didn't have to draw that card.
That is true. It means
they didn't have to cut corners to make it streamlinable.
It's like if you think of the Link era like anime cards like Goki, Trickstar, Marincess, like those aren't usually very busy art.
No, they're pretty streamlined models that are probably designed to be turned into a CG.
But when I say busy, I don't necessarily mean colorful. I mean shit like this, shit like Vendread, shit like certain spiral cards. Like
I guess we'll have to do Goki eventually, but I just think about Goki where it's like I can't think of Goki being non-busy, but I guess they're busy in like that. They're like very
I don't think
colorful
you looked at
wrestling
Goki
outfits.
They're not busy.
I mean,
They're just
no,
wearing
They're very
spandex.
simple cards.
So, some of those guys aren't even wearing pants.
No, that's not true. There's
No.
one Link archetype that's busy as hell. I did forget that is an anime archetype. I forgot Boral. I forgot about Boral.
Boral's a lot.
Boral's
That's because-
that's because Boral is a
Gosh.
Yu-Gi-Oh anime machine dragon. So
Right, it's the dragon archetype, so it always has to look fucking nuts.
as I have the Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel BGM like loop going, and it's got Meteonis Drytron back there, so it's just a giant gun robot dragon, and I'm just like, yeah, that's a Yu-Gi-Oh problem with dragons. But yeah, so Devotee, Devoted Hand in Japanese, is your other ritual monster that came out in the Hidden Summoners wave. It is a level 2 ritual, so you can summon it with any of your Litlins. She is a wind spellcaster ritual. She's got 12/12. You can ritual summon this with Rebirth. You can only use each of the effects once per turn. If this card was ritual summoned, activate this effect, special summon a Nephthys monster from your deck during your end phase, destroy this card. If this card is in the graveyard, you can destroy a Nephthys card in your hand if you do special summon this card. So, Devotee, not great. She lets you fetch any monster from your deck to kind of get more advantage for Links, which plays very well to their Link monsters. But she's very okay in that sense, and she doesn't even have an effect when destroyed, just that you can special summon her back by destroying a card in your hand as an extender. I am almost assured that this card was designed for the Link plays. When we get to the Link monsters...
I think this card is actually very good, only because of how it interacts with, like, it's mostly because of the second effect.
Yes, I will say this. Her graveyard effect, her problem being, of course, that remember to use that effect, you have to have properly summoned her first because of rituals. But the graveyard effect to destroy a card to special summon her back as basically... That's basically your version of, like, discard a card to special summon, pitch the top card off your deck to special summon. Like, in Nephthys, that's a good effect.
Hops.
Exile or Vox
No, they're both
monster.
hopped. Each effect is only once per turn. She's
Even
got
still,
bullet
like-
points. But yeah, no,
like,
that's just
I would
free
say,
extension.
Arguably, and you may think I'm crazy, but I do think this. I think this card's better than Cerulean. I don't think Cerulean's... I think Cerulean's the worst of the rituals.
I mean, depending on how you want to play the deck, it might be. I think Cerulean is a decent card because Nephthys don't have... They have, like, 2 ways you actually win a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Cerulean is one of them. Because remember, to win a game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, you either have to force your opponent to capitulate, which you will not do with this deck. There are no, like, negates or stun cards in Nephthys, thank God. Or you have to cause life point damage. So, Cerulean is one of those ways to actually, like, clear your opponent's board and attack for game.
That's true. I guess I more consider the other way as a more viable boss monster.
Yeah, I mean, I think either way works, and like I said, Devotee is definitely designed to incentivize that card, or those cards, but it's definitely, like, they got a couple of different axes to go through. So let's actually talk about their Link
Devotee
monsters.
is a stepping stone in your deck, but it isn't like a fucking launch pad.
Yeah, like I said, it's an extender, it is not a starter.
Yes.
No. But it is still very good because it does
Yes.
stuff with other
Yeah.
Nephthys cards.
Alright, so, yeah, it's all alphabetically. Let's not derail this by having me think too hard. We're already, like, scuffing all over the place. Let's talk about their Link 3 first, because that is before their Link 2. This is Nephthys
Wait.
the Sacred Flame.
There are other rituals later?
Yes, Conductor came out 2 years later.
That makes
Oh,
sense.
hey, look,
That makes
it's
way
all
more-
eyes.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so this is the card that's on Awakening. This is, again,
Yeah.
got the art of, like, a Nephthys, but we've got even more weird colors. I don't think I like... I think it's
kind of do.
the pose, but Sacred Flame here is really weird. The red and the gold and the black isn't a problem, though I do think the black striations look a lot like tires, which is a little weird. But, like, the thing she's doing with her arms and, like, some of the weird posing, the kind of, like, translucent white gold flames are not very eye-catching. Also, by the way, this card was printed as a secret rare. This is another card that you can't tell what the fuck is happening in real life.
I do
It's just a
actually
blur of
like
colors.
The way it's done, just because I like the aura it's giving off of.
It looks as if this is a weird centaur horse dragon thing.
The pose bits are a little weird, and I don't even know what's this bit. Is it the front bit? I think that's on the front. It's hard to tell what's going on, basically.
Like, what's that bit sticking off like the front? Yeah, the one Omega. Yeah, that bit. It looks like an extra leg.
I don't know. I think it's just like a ceremonial bit drooping down.
Also, one of the only Nephthys cards to ever be placed highly in a YCS.
Yes, right. Because
baby.
This is technically a somewhat generic link. And honestly, Nephthys the Sacred Flame, I would say, Flame Phoenix God Nephthys in Japanese, is for what it does, is a good link monster in certain decks. So let me run you through the cards. This is a Fire Winged Beast Link. It is a Link 3, 2400 attack. Its arrows are just all the bottom ones, so it's got solid arrows for this. Its mats are fairly generic, 2+ monsters, including a ritual monster. And this is why Devotee is the way she is. Devotee is an extender to get you into these cards. While this card is in the EMZ, monsters your opponent controls can't target Nephthys monsters in your main monster zone for attacks. So it protects your tiny baby Nephthyses if you're playing a Nephthys deck. This card gains a number of effects based on the number of ritual monsters used for its Link summon. 1, so always this effect can't be destroyed by battle. 2, this card can't be destroyed by card effects and gains 1200 attack. That means that it goes to 36. If you can actually make this Link 3 with 3 ritual monsters, neither player can target this card with card effects, and it gains another 1200 attack. So it becomes not quite a Towers because it doesn't have destruction protection, but it doubles its attack.
Annoying.
It's a 4800 beater that cannot be targeted and cannot be destroyed. Actually, no, it can't be destroyed. It's a full Towers, right? The 2+ is can't be destroyed and is 1200. So it's a Towers with 4800 attack.
It's not quite a full Towers, but it's like almost a Towers.
It doesn't necessarily like negate monster effects. It just can't be destroyed. So there are some ways to get rid of it.
It doesn't have unaffected, but it has like the next best thing.
Yeah, it's not fully unaffected, but it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects and can't be targeted. So there's a very few number of cards that can actually get rid of it.
Yeah, sadly, like one of my favorite cards, Scrap Iron Scarecrow, is useless to this.
Yeah. And it's got 48 if you do that. So, and in general, honestly, playing Nephthys, the two ritual monster effect is usually good enough. The 2-mat effect.
I've played games against Omega where he summoned this, and it's just like, what do I do now?
I've
it's
played this
36 and indestructible.
I've played this in a lot of decks.
Because like I said, it's technically semi-generic. You can summon it with any number with just ritual monsters.
And to me, this is the reason why I consider Devotee and the other ritual that we'll go to later to be the better rituals, because they are more conducive in the game plane of bringing out this big boy.
Yes, that makes sense.
I just think is a better payoff.
Yeah, I mean, if you can actually get it rolling, and you might be building ritual-type decks to play that a little better, that might work. Certainly, I think that Sacred Flame is a little bit better of a boss monster than Cerulean, but I think both work.
Yeah, it's the thing about... Well, like, I still play Cerulean. It's just, like, the thing about it is, like, Cerulean isn't amazing in either build I've done of Nephthys. Like, because I don't play other rituals in the Fire King build.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
I will say this. I think Cerulean is at a place where it was an okay boss monster in 2018, or as one of your accesses to win the game, and arguably you can use Cerulean as a stepping stone to get into Sacred Flame, because it can destroy monsters to then destroy your opponent's board, so it can board clear. Obviously, with 3 Raigeki, 3 Lightning Storm, 1 Feather Duster, there's a lot fucking better cards to play. 3 Dark Hole. Dark Hole's great in Nephthys, because that's destruction.
I have two things I want to say.
But let me finish my thought real quick. Cerulean, I don't think is a good boss monster anymore. It's 2013 or 2023, 10 years plus 2013, 2013 plus 10. It just being a 3K asshole who can blow up monster cards isn't good enough anymore.
No, and as much as people joke that it's not good enough anymore, target protection plus destruction protection to me is still good enough.
Yeah, good enough.
Yeah.
Some decks don't.
that's good enough to win a game 1. Oh shit, maybe I should make Nephthys for Master Duel and try and scum wins. I don't know. There's a lot of nonsense. The problem is getting to Sacred Flame.
I want to say, I guess.
Go ahead.
Just to get out of the way. I was originally going to say, like, I guess Nephthys' one thing is it doesn't lack having a decent end boss monster, but I guess it's not good enough anymore. And the second thing is, this just reminds me of Odd Eyes or Dimension Dragons. It just looks like It
Lost
just
me
looks like a
that
Dimension
joke
Dragon.
earlier. It's just a guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
no,
doesn't have
it's
enough
okay.
orbs to be a full-blown Odd Eyes, but it's definitely in that vein.
It feels like,
Well, I want to say
don't think
this.
Sacred Flame isn't not good
Yeah, I was
enough.
about to say
just
that, Axe. I
that
think it's incorrect to say that Sacred Flame is not a good enough boss monster. If
pure
you get it to
Nephthys
go,
is
it just,
not-
I guess the lead up to it is
Nephthys is
not
not good enough anymore. Nephthys cards
yeah.
themselves are too slow and don't have enough, like... What do you do if you're playing Nephthys and your opponent... If you're like, okay, Disciple, destroy a card in my hand, add a card to my deck. Your opponent's like, Ash Blossom. What do? You cry. Because you've normal summoned a zero-attack monster. That's their thing. I don't think Nephthys has enough starters and enough redundant starters. Nephthys doesn't even have a card that's like, in your hand, reveal this card in your hand, destroy another card in your hand, special summon it. Like, they don't even have a card like that.
There's enough generic ritual support, though, to facilitate it. Like, with Chalice Slime, with Herald of the Diviners, with, what's that fucking thing you pitch with that? Arclight. Herald of Arclight. Like, you can get to 3-mat Flame not that hard.
You can make it work. It's just that you got to be careful, and it relies a lot on that. But yeah, what I was going to say was that I think Sacred Flame is a great card in best of 1 scenarios. In best of 3, which, you know, I think... fuck it, I'll say it. I'll say that any OCG events that are playing best of 1 are not real Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a reason why we eventually added the side deck to our Prog series.
Is real Yu-Gi-Oh!
That happens sometimes. But, like, in the side deck... Sacred Phoenix goes down because your opponent probably has some kaijus or some other weird non-destruction, non-targeting cards. Maybe they're playing Closed Goddess, which really eats.
It kind of depends on the. It depends on the metagame. Like in some metagames, you can get this card through two games. I think. Like,
but like
the tier metagame, honestly.
The problem is that the problem is that well, in that case, your opponent, if they lose the die roll, they go for window lines and they go first. And they just make it so you can't make Phoenix. That's the thing, right? Like, I think your opponent will find their outs to Sacred Flame in a game 2 and 3, most likely. They will either...
Konami has a hard-on for Winda, I swear to God. She made it through another banned list untouched.
Well, I think that's because honestly, Konami did the thing that was smart, and they're like, we're going to kill the deck that abuses the Winda here, and we're just going to, fucking slap her.
She keeps becoming a problem.
It's true. And honestly, Dallas, you weren't here for that.
It becomes a problem enough times.
But I was talking about this, right, for when talking about when they're going to add tiers to Master Duel. I would not be surprised if their pre-hit is Winda or Instant Fusion gets banned. Like, that might be how they know tier is going to be crazy good, so to keep people playing, they're going to pre-hit because they pre-hit Toad.
Do anything.
Well, it would make it harder to do the window line, but yeah, I think it's
the actual hit. If you're gonna hit a fusion card, the actual hit is Super Poly.
They might also do that. I don't know a lot of people who love Super Poly. There's still some calls for it to be gone now.
Do, but
I mean, there's other ways to play Super Poly type stuff, but yeah, Sacred Flame is a perfectly cromulent card. Sorry, I'm getting a fucking snack hungry here, so we need to keep moving. This is Sacred Preserver, Nephthys Sacred Preserver. This is their, very much their archetype Link 2. This is a card that is seen a lot less. It's just the statue.
This card is, it's okay.
It's an archetype Link 2 for an archetype that's not super great on its own without, external support. So, yeah, it's kind of a card. I like what we're going for in the art. You can see, I think that's Matriarch because of the blue sleeves, but you can see, big statue, the flames. It's, again, very old school Yu-Gi-Oh vibes. This could be a card from 2002, right?
Bury a statue of Nephthys.
So here's the thing, Omega. I'll defend this card a little bit because I've forgotten about one of the effects.
I think it's an okay card in Nephthys. The problem is that it's a card that's only playable in Nephthys, I think.
But here's the thing, though, Omega. It allows Nephthys to do some very fun tech card things in it. because
True.
of how it's worded.
Right, you are correct. This lets you do some side plays.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, Loth brought up barrier statue. I think you could hypothetically play some barrier statues in Nephthys.
You can't play a barrier statue, but if
I wasn't thinking
we'll
of things.
talk about it.
Nephthys the Sacred Preserver is a Link 2. It's a fire-winged beast. It's only got 1200 attack, and its materials are exactly 2 Nephthys monsters. So, again, very much archetype locked. But it does let you play around a little. So, you can only use each of the following effects once per turn. During your main phase, if this card was Link summoned, activate one of these effects. 1. Add a level 8 winged beast monster from your deck to your hand, then add a ritual spell from your graveyard to your hand. So, obviously, this is meant to facilitate Cerulean Phoenix, but as Dallas said, that's any level 8 winged beast monster. So that could be Apex Evian, for instance.
There's some other shit. So,
What
I've
level is
experimented
Garunix,
a
actually,
lot with this
also?
card. You can search Danger Thunderbird with it.
Right, that's also a good one. Yeah, that's great.
And you want to know a real fun one?
What?
So, you know the effects of Incantation Inception, right?
Impception? I don't remember.
Yeah, Inception, the actual ritual card. It can basically cheat as any ritual card.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, you can
Yeah,
ritual
you
summon
can
any
use it to
ritual
summon-
monster.
So, do you know what is also a level 8 winged beast
What?
that I've actually taken to running? The Shinobird rituals.
Oh!
Shinobird
Yeah,
Peacock
okay.
And Shino Baroness Peacock.
Yeah, that would work for synergy. Yeah.
You could do some very funny things with
Yeah,
this
so
card that I
Sacred
enjoy.
Preserver, it expands your ability to work, but it does keep in mind this is a prep, not a pre-prep. So you have to have the ritual spell in your graveyard to add it.
Yeah.
And then its other effect is destroy one Nephthys monster this card points to, special summon a Nephthys monster from a different original name in your graveyard but negate its effect. This is just to, I assume, set up to let you go into Sacred Flame easier if you don't have a ritual monster on board, but it's not great. But the add a winged beast monster adds more, and
Yeah, it lets you do fun stuff, which I always appreciate. You know me, Omega.
and yes, High Avatar Garunix is also an 8.
Yeah, Grundix is,
So, Sacred Preserver has its uses. Again, the main issue is it is a Nephthys link card. It is 2 Nephthys monsters, exactly 2.
But if you're already committing to doing Nephthys, I think it actually adds a lot to the deck.
Yeah, no, it is a perfectly good, honestly pretty good archetype Link 2 monster. The problem is that Nephthys has a very weird ceiling, like we said. Like your best bet is trying to make 3 mat. And like I said, honestly, 1 mat or 2 mat is probably okay. 2 mat's the best, I think. That's usually what I go for. But 3 mat Sacred Flame and go to town. But even then, it doesn't have quite enough attack to actually OTK your opponent, so they will have some chances to think of some nonsense. For instance, I believe Dark Ruler defeats you because that does not target, that just negates everything face up on the board.
Yeah. The reason I like this card is specifically because it lets you expand those win conditions. Like,
well, and this I think is this is the thing that happens when Konami sleeps on what's not even an archetype, but sleeps on a card concept for so long. This came out in 2018 with all the rest of the support. Nephthys had already existed for like 12 years? Yeah, like 12 years, over 10 years, over a decade of Nephthys and Hand of Nephthys existing, and, Dark Nephthys came out. So they would have seen Nephthys used in, like, Chaos Control and Zombie Phoenix builds and shit, and seen Sacred Phoenix used in Fire King decks as well. So they understood the synergy. So, like, they knew that you can do weird shit here. And honestly, the Shinobird stuff may also have been intentional because those are our rituals and winds and winged beasts.
You can also search all the Smorgies.
Yeah.
Index Smorgs.
And that might work because you do have some wind monsters. Yeah, it's a decent card. The main thing is just, once again, because it requires 2 Nephthys monsters, depending on your draws, getting 2 Nephthys on the board is hard.
Yeah.
It's really weird, but that's their struggle. They do have a card that does help with that because they've got a hell of a Band-Aid card in their ritual from Phantom Rage, a banger of a set.
Yeah.
So this
card
is
dumb.
Conductor, connecting hand of the Nephthys. So
That
this
looks
is
like-
the
Looks like disciple.
yeah, this is
older.
Disciple. You
Or
okay,
she
Wolf?
I
awakens
don't think
to
she's
her
any
power.
older. I just think she's
Woke up.
more angry.
Yeah, this is Disciple awakens her powers to summon forth Nephthys. So she's got a different headdress, and I think her dress is slightly different. Her feather is orange now; it's glowing, so she's on the ball. Her hat is golden. But there's not a lot else going on in this art to talk about. So she is a wind spellcaster, level 2, because she's a ritual with 2,000 attack, 0 defense. So she's got the opposite stats of her disciple self. You can ritual summon this card with Rebirth of Nephthys. If this card is ritual summoned, special summon a Nephthys ritual monster from your hand or deck, except Conductor. This is a ritual summon. If this card is tributed or destroyed by a Nephthys card effect, activate this effect during your next standby phase. Destroy up to 3 Nephthys cards except ritual monsters, 1 each from your hand, deck, or field. You can only use each effect of Conductor once per turn. So Conductor is a fucking bonkers card.
Yeah.
Now they
This
seem to
card
work
on
this
ritual
card.
summon cheats out any Nephthys ritual from your deck.
Yeah.
Also, fun fact: you can tribute itself with its own first effect for summoning the second ritual to activate its second effect.
Yeah, no. Crazy. So yeah, Conductor, the main thing is just Conductor is not, it's still got that standby phase restriction, which I think Nephthys will have until the end of time, and it sets up your Sacred Phoenix plays, obviously. That means you at minimum have 2 mat. The main thing is just getting here. You have to have a ritual card and a number of Nephthys monsters. It's not hard, because it's just a 2, but there's definitely these steps to, like, get there, and sometimes you just don't draw the shit. There's a lot of
This
ways
is
you
a
can
very good card.
you can massage making the card, but it's definitely like you need to get some guys on stuff. And it to activate its effect, it does. Let me actually make sure. I believe it is mandatory. Nope, destroy up to 3. Okay, so
Nope, it's not mandatory.
okay, that's good. It is up to 3, so that means you don't need to
If it
have
was mandatory, I would actually argue the card wouldn't be that good.
it. It does mean you need hand and board presence to do the most of it, but it does let you do the destroy from deck effect we're talking about. Not ritual monsters, obviously, but still. It lets you trigger a lot of effects. So there's definitely some room to grow here, but it's still a little slow, and you have to have the right cards in hands. And basically, I think the reason why Nephthys never really took off is they came out in like 2018, and this came out in 2020. All of this, prime Ash Blossom time. Like, everybody was running Ash. It was an in-demand card. Ash is actually, like, so little in demand that Konami is fucking putting it in every structure deck. It's going to be in the Trap Tricks deck. They replaced Max C with it.
Hey,
Actually, by the way, Dallas, if you haven't looked at the Trap Trick structure deck, that is crazy. Evenly Matched is in there. I think Raigeki and Feather Duster are in there.
Evenly Matched wasn't that expensive, but the Feather Duster reprint's great.
Yeah, no, it's another Feather Duster reprint. It's an evenly matched print. It's another Ash Blossom. Also a shitload of good trap holes. They've got like Gravedigger,
Yeah,
Floodgate.
Trap Trick is another really good
Right, yeah,
reprint
Trap Trick.
because
Like,
that card
yeah.
was not inexpensive.
I don't know if, as they stand, even with the new support, the Trap Tricks deck will be meta, but
No.
at locals, by 3, you can definitely stomp your locals, and you can have some fun. I do meet some Trap Trick players in ladder on Master Duel and go, as I'm playing Labyrinth, haha, I'm you, but better.
I don't know if Trap Trick could stomp on locals. Maybe we have a really bad local scene.
No, I think if you're running
Trap Trick is a
3 together
really
deck,
bad deck.
I don't know, the Link Monster and the Xyz can be really good. Like, there's some decent
I
stuff
think the
there.
Xyz could be good in other decks. I don't know.
But yeah, that is basically all of the Nephthys. The Nephthys support stopped at Conductor. There are a couple. We talked about a little bit about Awakening. But Awakening is again, it's slow. It's a continuous trap card. Which while it's active, your Nephthys monsters all gain 300 attack. If this face-up card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, special summon a Nephthys from your hand or deck or graveyard, but destroyed during the end phase. So like. It's one of those cards that's like trying to debate your opponent into destroying it. Or you can... Some of your cards allow you to destroy it because it is a Nephthys card. Hold on, I've dropped my mouse pad.
I think the one benefit that Nephthys has is it was made. Most of the cards were made in pretty recently, so it doesn't have the like Dark World problem of like being really annoyingly finicky.
Yeah, no, they're pretty direct. If you destroy the cards, stuff happens. Let me see. No, that's Chronicler, Campus, Space Shark. Yeah, I think literally the only thing is their third spell trap card also from Hidden Summoners. It's Last Hope, which is a normal spell. Target one other Nephthys card you control, and one card your opponent controls. Destroy both of them, and you can only activate one per turn. So it's cool to set up, but like it's just not enough. It's just to target and destroy to start your deck. And honestly, it's really weird. I don't know why Konami, once again, 25th anniversary year, we're hoping. I don't know why Konami hasn't tried to go back to this. Maybe because God knows they have tried to make Mayakashi work. There are like 3 Ghost Meets Girl cards to try and like make Mayakashi better. There's like 2 Link monsters, I think, that have tried to make it better. It's had mixed success, but they've tried. Prank Kids is a meta deck, or was anyway. Obviously, they needed some of their later Link support for that, but still. I think the main thing is Nephthys is lacking its own spell trap lineup to make some of those searches worth it. Like, it's really weird, but I think in this year of our Lord Nephthys, Our Lady Nephthys 2023, they need an archetype Omni Negate, please? When did we stop doing that? And honestly...
2018 about.
Honestly, they probably need a field spell. I know it's weird, but a field spell that lets you, like, destroy a card in your hand to draw a card, or, like, destroy a card to summon a card or something. Like, something that just can get your destruction effects started without...
They already have that.
Well, yes, they have
Fire King Island.
They do have Fire King Island, but that does require... Let me actually double-check exactly how
it doesn't require Fire Kings. You just do it.
I mean, considering that they have a field spell that lets fucking Branded just fuse, why don't they just do a thing with, like, this field spell lets you just ritual summon?
I mean, there are archetypes that have that. During your main phase, destroy a monster, and if you do, add a Fire King from your deck to your hand. So, no, I do believe you do have to. It's mandatory. Add a Fire King.
No, you don't have to. You don't.
Really?
I know it. You don't have to.
That's really weird. If you control no monster, special summon a Firewing Beast. That's okay. That helps, like, old school Sacred Phoenix. Okay. That's really interesting. I did not realize. So, yeah, no, they don't necessarily need a field spell because you do just run Fire King Island. Probably why they don't have one. There's still, like... That still doesn't...
Should be something that accelerates the...
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, like technically, yes, Fire King Island does let you destroy a card in your hand, but then it doesn't do anything, is what I'm saying. Like, I want that destruction effect to be, like, to draw a card or add a Nephthys or, like, or play a Nephthys or something. Like...
You know what would honestly fix most of Nephthys' problems? Nephthys needs a retrain that just makes it Garundix. What I mean by that is, instead of on your next standby phase, make it opponent's standby phase. I think that fixes most of the problems. Yeah.
And also, honestly, like, if you're gonna make them a Link deck, maybe give them, like, a Link 1 that says, like, 1 Nephthys monster, special a Nephthys to the zone this card points to or something. Like, they just need better extenders and better starters to actually make their plan to get to Sacred Flame more consistent in their own archetype.
I have a feeling my locals might just be tryhards then.
That can happen, yeah. But yeah, like, I think Nephthys is like I said, I like it because it's Egypt themed, it's fire themed, it's old school, without necessarily losing its that aesthetic. It didn't super update, though. We do have our own thoughts about some of the newer cards are a little busy, but and like I said, they have an interesting game plan of self-destruction. They were not the earliest, but one of the earlier cards doing some of that stuff, and like it's neat. They're just a interesting way to play Yu-Gi-Oh. And I wish that Konami would give them a little more gas in the tank. But let's see. This has been 2 hours? Yeah. So we won't do Beat Trooper tonight.
No. That has a lot, and yeah.
Yeah, Beat Trooper will be our next one.
We want to actually...
Beat Trooper has more than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of cards.
Because there's cards that have come out after the solo mode did, too.
It's got a lot of goddamn fucking
I think they cool. I think they look cool.
Also,
Well, you
I would
would.
request that we do the battle wasps with them, just because that's 6 cards.
We can probably do that as a coda, yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a B Trooper deck that didn't run the main deck battle wasps.
I mean,
Legitimately.
I mean, yeah, it just gives you so much fucking extra deck options.
yeah, because
well,
like,
not that extra deck, but just pin the bullseye.
Well, that's what I mean, like, because
what's
some of the
the
cards you
fucking-
run are
is it
tuners,
Arbalest
and then
Commander?
they're
it actually
free
looks cool.
monster.
Insect Knights just look cool, honestly. To me.
Or is it? I can't
Well,
remember which
that's what I was
one.
gonna say. Yes, of course, Axe, you like the aesthetics of this archetype. You are a known enjoyer of,
Toku.
Yes, of Toku and of Hollow Knight.
Wait, hold on. Why does that guy on the left look similar to that one Pokemon?
Yeah.
Which one?
The one that like evolves from like a skatey looking bug to like a thing with like 4
Oh,
arms.
Galissapod. Right? No, you're right. You're right. The scale bomber does kind of look like Galissapod. I can see that.
I mean, yes, Zed, technically that would work, but I don't know if that would work because that might not be real.
Also,
give yourself
you
a
can't do that because that would break so many cards.
Yeah, add a
As-
second standby phase at your end phase would be
Look,
weird.
look, as someone who is Magic has a card like this, and it's banned in like 4 formats because of Ruling's Nightmares.
Like, hypothetically, yes, you can print a Yu-Gi-Oh card that says anything. I feel like that's like,
Do
you
not.
know, more like, honestly, I think Axe had a decent idea. Give Nephthys their own version of Foolish Burial type thing, which is just a normal spell card that
Oh, but-
only says destroy a Nephthys in your deck.
And
Like-
then if you do, destroy another.
Yeah, maybe destroy 2. Just anything to like get cards in your graveyard and start their
Look at
effects
that.
set up.
Think about it. Lava was not good, except they had multi-conduction field.
Sting the Poison, that's right. That's the other one.
Yeah,
This motherfucker in the middle looks too much like a Final Form Digimon to me.
That or like,
The B Troopers look very Digimon.
B Troopers
Like,
are gonna get some of that when we do that next
I
week.
wouldn't say, like, I personally don't think they have very many Toku vibes. I definitely think this one is full Digimon.
Some of their smaller guys, you got to remember, they do have some foot soldiers. Those guys do kind of look like some Toku mooks, because they're very
Maybe.
insectile.
Right.
But yeah, let me check the calendar. Yeah,
long
so
as
we
they're
do have
doing
2 episodes
5.
left this month. So 21 will probably be B Trooper, and that will mean 28 is gonna be the voted poll. So let me go check that real quick before we get out of here. And I am getting
Yeah,
out of here because it's time to log into FGO. And also, like I said, I'm fucking hungry. I need a snack. I need
don't
Snickers.
remember what
I
I
don't
put
mind
on
tough.
for that poll.
Okay, I'm gonna go farm birds.
Yeah, you guys are gonna go farm 14. The failed portrayal poll. I don't think you got back to me. I think you were dead, so I just put gimmick puppet again because you didn't say anything.
Okay, sweet.
That has 0 votes, by the way.
Yeah!
It looks
Yeah,
like
it's-
Infernity is gonna
It's a
win
tie
with
with
1
Malefic for
vote.
0 votes.
Seriously, people, there are only 7 votes in this poll. There are 2 days left. It's only our $5 level on Patreon. You can support us for a whole month and vote on this poll. There are fucking 7 votes and 2 days left. Please help me.
God, Infernity's gonna have like 30 cards.
Yeah, no, we're gonna die. Please. I mean, your competition
as
right
bad as
now
Black
are Red Eyes and Spiral. I put Red Eyes just to be cheeky, so that's at 2 and
Red
Spiral
Eyes-
is at 2.
Red Eyes is also bad.
Red Eyes, at least I think, will be fast because it'll be like, this card is gear freed, but with red eyes. Moving on.
But there's so many cards, Omega.
True, though there are possibly less than you might be thinking. But yeah. So, but either way, this is like really close for no reason because nobody is fucking voting. Please help me out here. Also,
Very
probably after the Fail Portrayal poll goes, I will be running a Patreon poll and a YouTube membership poll for bonus stream this month. Lucky obviously has been streaming Dead Space Remake as just his own personal bonus project to, you know, get some more man hours on the
Jesus
channel.
fuck,
But he will be finishing that up on the 16th, so that means the 23rd or maybe the 2nd is free. If you want to see me play Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, maybe this event or some other bullshit, that'll probably be on the poll along with some other stuff that I don't know yet because I've got so many fucking games. So yeah, consider that one. Anyway, all right. I'm going to stop the audio loop. I'm going to end out of here. Thank you so much for everybody tuning in. I know we were a little scatterbrained in a couple places there, but there's some stuff going on. Make sure to log into FGO, log into your Master Duel. You know, see whatever we got going on. And I will see you guys next week for more Failed Portrayal. And speaking of farming birds, make sure to tune in tomorrow for more Final Fantasy 14. We probably won't farm any birds, but I'm going to try and clear more MSQs because we realized that I can't unlock Shiva Extreme yet, so we can't get our last horse in our farming round robin. Or
No,
at least
we need
I
you
can't.
to see Grandpa first.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So, yeah, I'll talk more about that. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Please make sure to give this video a like, leave your comments, subscribe, consider supporting us either on Patreon or channel memberships. That's all I got. See you next time.
Bye.